Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh,
Patriots, Gaytriots, Theytriots, Blacktriots, Browntriots. Welcome to America's Top DEI podcast. Pumps, what have you had it with?
okay. What I've had it with is I've had it with all the Trump propagandists sitting there telling me that Trump is the most transparent president in history when he doesn't release the jobs numbers. He refuses to release any studies or anything about the economy or inflation. He refuses to release the Epstein files. Like every single day, he walks into work and says, we're going to lie and hide shit from the American people. And then all his acolytes say, oh, well, he's so transparent. And I'm like, I'm going to lose my mind, because if you want to just say, we're never going to give you the Epstein files, full stop, but saying we're the most transparent administration in history, and Donald Trump, on top of having a big dick and the best makeup in the world, he's the most transparent when he fires people that don't have numbers he likes, won't release employment numbers, won't release inflation numbers, and then tells us he's so transparent. It's making me crazy.
Well, this is a part of the strategy. This is your fatigue and your exhaustion and your feeling crazed means that they are being very effective fascist propagandists. You just articulated the desired result. They flood the zone and make you feel like you're going to descend into nihilism because caring doesn't mean anything. And so, of course, they lie. Of course, he's cooked the books. Anybody who's been a student of Trump long before he has descended down the escalator knows this is what he does. He cooks the books on his financial status. He called reporters and said that he was such a great lay in bed, acting like he wasn't him. None of this is new. He's just doing this on the global stage now. And they are going to continue to do this every single day. They're going to get up and say one thing and their actions are going to be the opposite. And it's going to rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Have zero expectation that one day they're going to say, we're never going to release the Epstein files. They're never going to. They're always going to filibuster on every fucking point. All day, every day, all day long. It is the oxygen in which fascist takeovers actually come to life. And so this is going to continue day in and day out. And it's going to be a clown car with a liar, with all of these toxic people. The main thing I think that to focus on is the Americans that are celebrating the villain.
Right.
We're celebrating the villain, the guy who doesn't take up for the marginalized, the guy who beats up on the poor, the guy who beats up on the sick, the guy that doesn't, quote, love thy neighbor, as all of the evangelical Christians claim they want to do, as it pertains to immigration, as it pertains to healthcare. The main thing we've got to do is keep focusing on the hypocrisy of these MAGA Christians that wake up every single day with a mouth full of scripture and a heart full of hate because the gig is fucking up. Trump exposed every single one of you for the hypocrites you've always been. Wearing Trump merch is actually a cell phone. It tells me that you are an absolute piece of shit, that are a total hypocrite. Every single day that you wake up and you look in the mirror and you go, you know what? Jesus fucking loves me. And then you go out and you do the exact opposite of what the central character of the faith of Christianity would do. We have a crazy Christian problem in America. We have always had a crazy Christian problem in America. Problem is now the crazy Christians are in power. And we have always been an extraordinarily religious first world country. Other democracies have frowned upon us because of the overt religiosity that our politicians feel like they have to ooze out of their bodies. It should be completely secular. And so this is the final tug of this Christian nationalism, and they're tugging on and they're desperately trying to cling to this idea of having a Christian nation. And sadly, they have people that are radicalized via Fox News that sit on the Supreme Court that want the same thing. Yeah. And so I know it's frustrating, Pumps, but it will continue all day, every day, wake up, rinse, repeat. That is the desired effect of fascist propaganda.
You have to keep reminding me this is what they want so that I can like reset my brain, because
don't let it trigger you.
No, it doesn't trigger me, but it makes me think, are half of Americans this stupid? And it makes me like have a real judgment issue with these people. Like some days I have empathy, like the reason these people still support Trump is they're being lied to on their news. They're not being told the truth. And then I take that one step further and then I think, but they have agency. They could go find their own news. And then people that, there's polls, 39% of the country still supports Trump. I'm like, I vacillate between having empathy that they don't know and they're being lied to, and madder than a hornet that they are so easily manipulated and that the racism has got to be at the root of it. I mean, I just go back and forth.
Well, I mean, I think that you have degrees of MAGA. You have the cult, which is like 30% of the country. And then you have polite/country club Republicans. And they don't care about anything until it happens to them. They don't have empathy for deportation until the person who mows their yard or the person that cleans their house gets deported. Then all of a sudden they found Jesus on the issue. So there is a lot of willful denial engaged in Christianity, evangelical Christianity. And there's a lot of willful denial as far as being a MAGA Christian. And I always know that these people are the pieces of shit that they say they are based on this. There are certain conversations they will have in white circles and like-minded circles. And then when they apply a filter with a different group of people and they won't say what they said so freely, then you know it is willful. It is willful cruelty. It is willful hatefulness. It is willful denial. Because if somebody can censor what they would say, around their church group, when they can all just knee slap about Mexicans or black people and using the N word. And then when they're at a basketball game for their child or their grandchild, where there are black people and Mexican people on the team and they don't drop the N word, then beyond a shadow of a doubt, they know exactly what they're doing is hateful and willfully racist. And so the MAGA structures keep the stuff that you're talking about, bouncing from this to this. They breathe in that type of hypocrisy. They breathe in those type of contradictions. That's what they're used to. God loves you more than anything on the planet. Step out of line and Satan's going to torture you for hell. I mean, that's a day as an evangelical Christian. You vacillate from being adored by your creator to all of a sudden your creator that adores you is going to send you to hell to be tortured for all eternity. I mean, that's a total mind fuck. Exactly what Trump's doing to you.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it triggers me, because that's how I was raised and I've gotten away from that and I don't live under that every day. And it just seems like that's what is happening. It's an awakening. Mm-hmm. Trump is an abuser. I will stand on record. He is abusing this nation. He's emotionally abusing, physically at some points too, when you look at ICE, but it's emotional abuse. There's no doubt.
Yeah. And so is the Old Testament God an abuser.
100%.
And so it tracks that type of sociopathy kind of tracks. Okay. I think we shared our grievance today. So I'm going to welcome everybody to I've Had It podcast. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Angie, HBIC.
Kylie, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you all?
Excellent.
Okay, I've got 2 reviews for you really quick.
Okay.
This one is 5 stars. And they write, "These 2 ladies are truly doing the Lord's work in the most atheist of ways and showing the world how you handle washed up titty babies. I got my lunchmates at work to start listening, as we have been running our own version of I've Had It for years. And now we dream of being non-famous guests on the pod, because boy, do we have a list. Anyway, thank you for being an island of reality in this ocean of diarrhea we are living through. You both are the absolute best."
That is a picture that I got in my head, the ocean of diarrhea. And wow, I can see it with my eyes. Very descriptive.
Yeah. Okay. Next up.
Okay, we've got another 5-star titled Love These Ladies. And they write, as a queer, multi-ethnic Black American woman with a white Christian nationalist MAGA mother, these ladies are healing my mommy issues one episode at a time. These ladies are true allies. I call them my white lesbian mothers in my head. Keep fighting the good fight.
Wait, leave that up. A multi-ethnic Black American woman, a queer, with a white Christian nationalist mother. I'll tell you what, nickname, that's what name she went under. That's some tough shit. When you see, there's these stereotypes that we have about women being the kinder of the two genders and more empathetic. And when you see a matriarch figure be so sociopathic, it's really, it's a real mind fuck, because
it's more jarring.
Yeah, it's a real, like when I see like Caroline Levitt, who has a child, Christy Nome, who has children,
right?
That you've had a child and then you cannot extend the vulnerability you feel after you have a baby and you have an infant in your arms. I'd never felt so vulnerable / alone at the same time, because your whole life comes to a screeching halt and you have this infant. It seems like you wouldn't feel lonely, but I found early motherhood incredibly lonely. And I felt so vulnerable. And I've always been a pretty empathetic person, but it made my empathy even more for, I would think about like mothers in war-torn countries when I was holding my babies, like, God, how horrible would that be? Like, I don't want anybody to ring the doorbell, much less drop a bomb. And it made me, far more empathetic towards that plight of young mothers and how we are just through nature, the more vulnerable of the species, because we have the young with us. And I just think it's a real mindfuck when the matriarch of a system is the chief officer of cruelty.
Yeah. Especially when you have a multi-ethnic Black daughter and you're MAGA white Christian. Like, that to me seems like that couldn't possibly exist. But I know it does in droves.
Yeah. Okay, Kylie, let's do a couple of news stories before we welcome our guest. All right. Gen Z are returning to church in surprising numbers. Gen Z men are returning to church at an alarming rate in what some are calling a faith resurgence for a generation that's otherwise known as the least religious generation. New numbers supported by the Barna Group show otherwise. Gen Z men are attending church slightly more often than millennial men, marking a generational reversal. And here's the thing. I would need to know more information about what type of church it is. Is this a mega church with the prosperity gospel, which I suspect it probably is, because there's all of this trad wife, overwhelming misogyny, which rises up in authoritarian regimes, and women at the same time, all of the policy that we have passed for equality in genders is starting to bear fruit. And all of these things are having a collision course. And I imagine they're probably going to the rock band, dunk tape, hellfire, damnation, horrible architecture, life church type situation.
Yeah, that's what I got, because it's like men think, white men think they're under attack. And so they have to go to the manosphere to feel good about themselves. So of course they're going to go to church, because they tell them everything is not your fault. Women should serve you. I mean, I don't think people that aren't religious and haven't been raised around religion realize how patriarchal and misogynistic the Bible is. It is just unbelievable. So they go in there and they're like, you deserve a trad wife that submits to you. And it's not your fault you can't find a partner or a job. It's women's fault. So that's where my brain went. I don't know if that's true.
Well, I think a part of it too is a lot of these men can't survive in a meritocracy. And the results of that are happening. Like, you see that, the MAGA administration wants to dismantle DEI because none of these fuckers would have ever gotten those jobs, ever, if they didn't have connections, weren't white, etc. All right. We could go on and on about this forever, but I'm super excited about our guest. Let me give you all some background. So Pumps and I were on our way to lunch one day, and she's driving, and I'm just like going through my Instagram reels. And this guy comes up And he is standing outside the Heritage Foundation with a bullhorn, motherfucking the shit out of the people that work at the Heritage Foundation. I mean, following them and reading them for filth. I mean, it was like, oh my God. So I show Pumps. And we went and he followed Pumps, but he didn't follow me. She goes, oh my God, he follows me. I said, oh my God, message him. I have to have him on the pod immediately.
Yeah.
So she messaged him. And now we have him here on our podcast. So I'm so excited to introduce comedian and self-proclaimed CEO of Antifa, who once teabagged JD Vance in college, Cliff Cash. The CEO of Antifa and world famous teabagger, Cliff Cash Comedy. Cliff, how are you? I haven't seen you since that Antifa meeting we had over the Portland initiative.
You weren't at the one at Nancy Pelosi's house where we drank adrenochrome. So fun. Nance, what a mess.
Yeah, she is. I mean, she's wild. She is wild. I have to say, I was just telling the viewer, the listener, that Pumps and I was just on like Instagram, and I see this guy standing outside the Heritage Foundation just browbeating the ever living fuck out of these dorky pink arm pussy pieces of shit. And it was like the most satisfying thing I'd ever watched. Kylie, do you have that clip to play?
Looks like we got another pretty boy Nazi fascist. Look at this soft-handed pencil-arm country club fascist pussy that couldn't punch his way out of a wet paper bag with razor blades glued to his knuckles. What a fucking coward. Knows I'm talking to him, but won't even turn around. Do you like walking for a Russian-backed Nazi organization, Chad? Chad, I'm talking to you, Chad.
Okay, that is so good. Do you live in DC or do you just go there to do that exclusively?
I don't. October 18th will be my 14th trip of the year. And I don't want to, I just, when he got back into the White House, which I really didn't think would happen. And it did. And I something kind of clicked in my head. It was like, well, clearly nobody's doing anything. So I guess broke ass, unfamous comedians have to go like troll the Nazis. I mean, it's the least I can do for the country that gave me $500 a month healthcare. You know what I mean? You gotta defend Uncle Sam.
And so when you go to the Heritage Foundation, do any of them ever say a word back, or is it a profile and cowardice the whole time?
B. So I March 13th, 14th, and 15th, I got together with some other groups, Jessica Denson from Lights On, American Opposition, Sons of Liberty. We had a pretty big veterans rally on the National Mall. I think we had around 5,000 veterans. Really good event. And the next day I took everyone to Fox News, and we had a big crowd there, and we marched that crowd to CNN. And then the next day we went to the Heritage Foundation for the first time. And there's a video somewhere of me standing on the roof of a pickup truck with a megaphone yelling at a MAGA counter protester. I thought that's what you were going to show when you first said that. But that was the first one. And then it has led to a weekly protest every Monday. So we go with noisemakers, like really powerful aerosol air horns, megaphones, trumpets, pots and pans, everything you can imagine that's really loud. And we just make a ton of noise while they're trying to work. And so we time that to where we're there when they're getting off of work. And at first we would follow, like one guy I followed all the way to the train station, which is probably like a quarter of a mile, yelling at him with a megaphone, calling him a Nazi. I later found out that he's head of tax policy. He's one of the people that wrote Project 2025, the big, beautiful bill. So I felt even better about it. But after we did that for long enough, I'm sure the employees complained to the head Nazis, and they now have black Suburbans that they are transporting the employees out of the parking decks into their cars. They have all kind of security. They have 20 police there every Monday. So we're going to switch it up soon.
I was going to ask
gaydar ping from these guys that come in and out at all. Like, do you ever get? I have this theory that a lot of Project 2025 Christian nationalism, there's a lot of suppressed bisexuality and homosexuality in there.
100%.
And so I have excellent gaydar. And I don't know, do you have good gaydar, and do you get a gay vibe when you clock these people walking in and out of the Heritage Foundation? Some of the videos I saw some Pris Pant, sachet Shantae guys walking out of that Heritage Foundation, and I got a gaydar ping.
I got to tell you, the closeted gays, terrible fashion. The closeted gays that wear like some penny loafers with the penny in it and like cuffed khakis that still have the crease. It's real early 90s vibes, you know, it's real early 90s country club Hilfiger vibes. I definitely think that that's a huge part of not just the Heritage Foundation, but the Republican Party in general, are these people that take rights away from people during the day, people who are brave enough to be themselves, while they go shame fuck each other at night and shut down the Grindr app at the RNC. I mean, I think it's kind of an open secret. I think my gaydar is strong. I mean, it's strong enough to where, like, as soon as I saw Mike Johnson's face for the first time, I was like, oh, you can't have skin like that with a lot of little semen on there.
Oh my gosh. We completely agree. It's off the chart. It is off the chart. How gay
that guy he gets lots of facials.
100%. And then he runs a conversion camp, or his wife runs a conversion camp. That's a huch tell too.
That's what I would do if I was gay. Yeah. So my first like big comedy special is called The Long Road, and in it I talk about growing up in an evangelical household. My dad worked on a pit crew when they still raced NASCAR on dirt, and my mom talked in tongues until she got dementia, and now she forgot that she feels the spirit. Either that or the spirit's like, well, she's not going to remember it. I'm not going to do it. But that was my upbringing, and I have a gay sister who came out to me when I was 15. And so I tell that story, and I also talk about trans rights and gay rights. And throughout the special, the callback is that Mike Johnson is gay. So anytime I reference any of it, I'll let the applause die down, and I'll go, what I'm trying to say is Mike Johnson's gay. And then it gets another whole round of applause. He's one of my least favorite.
Did you see the Grindr, not Grindr, it had something to do with Grindr, the guy on TikTok that went viral a couple weeks ago, and he's about to out Mike Johnson. So here's the thing. Here's the way I see the resistance towards fascism. Obviously, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries fucking suck, and they need to step aside, and we need fighters that know how to run their social media, or at least hire people that can run savvy social media. But nonetheless, the Democrats are kind of going through a transformation right now, and they'll sort it out. But then there's us, the podcasters, the comedians, the people that are online. And my opinion is these guys are the biggest fucking pussies on the planet. Could you imagine 100%. Being a MAGA man and navigating a remote control? You would go, oh my God, it's a Cracker Barrel commercial. Oh my God, it's Bad Bunny. Oh my God, this entire family on this show is black. I mean, It would be an absolute fucking nightmare. And then you'd get to nighttime. You'd go from Kimmel to Colbert, Stage 5 meltdown. They are such fucking pussies. It's unbelievable that they had the audacity to call us snowflakes because we care about human rights. Meanwhile, they literally cannot watch television at night without having a meltdown as they switch from channel to channel. And I just think it's such a layup to make fun of somebody like Stephen Miller, who is both unlikable and unfuckable, more so than I think Ted Cruz, who was always at the top of that list. And I just think it's such a layup. And I wish that leadership would, AOC has been doing it, but I wish that they would just start browbeating the shit out of them, because they're not as powerful as they emit.
The fact that it's being allowed to happen at all is baffling to me. Like the fact that there aren't people within the military intelligence community, the military community in general, former world leaders, former powerful U.S. officials, and people worldwide collectively getting together and going, we can't let this guy be in the White House. We can't let a guy who is clearly on the take from Russia be in the White House. A guy who hired Paul Manafort as his first campaign advisor, whose last job right before working for Trump the first time was to get a Russian asset elected in Ukraine, who was run out of Russia for being a fucking Russian asset. And guess where he fled to? You'll never guess. Russia, because he's a Russian asset. The guy's next job was Trump, and he did it for $0, despite owing Oleg Deripaska like $600 million or something insane. That alone, any one of these things should have ended this guy's political career. And it didn't, because the Republicans have defunded education for decades while pumping disinformation into the simplest and most vulnerable citizens in the country. It's shocking and disgusting. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just like trying to do something, because it seems that our leaders, or the people that we thought were leaders, are writing strongly worded letters and holding up signs on popsicle sticks. And that's not going to get it done. And these people aren't tough. And they'd be even less tough with the military might of the U.S. Armed Forces behind us, behind real Americans. That's how this should have played out from day one. But here we are.
I was just talking to Jennifer about, I get just bogged down with all the lying. Trump is the most transparent in history. And while at the same time, we all know that's not true. And I just feel like we're going through a cycle of like abuse, like an abuser. He's like creates a problem, then he solves the problem. He's the only one that can solve a problem. And it just keeps going. And she has to remind me, this is what they want. So do you feel that way? And when you do, how do you get yourself out of that and motivate yourself to go back to DC and browbeat these Heritage Foundation people?
I think a lot of it is just like the good energy from my supporters. It's really, I read the comments. I probably shouldn't, but 95% of them are nice. And people are like, you're every day when I watch your videos is like giving me hope. I feel hopeless, and your videos are giving me hope. And these people come to my stand-up shows and give me hugs, and sometimes they cry, and they bring me shirts and hats, and they show up to protest with me. There's an older lady, her name is Mary, and she's little, and she's so cute and so sweet. And she's seen my stand-up like 3 times in 3 different states. And she's been to like maybe 5, 6, 7 protests in DC. And she lives in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And she's probably like, I don't know, maybe she's like 70 or something, a little under or a little over. And that's who's showing up. That's who cares, is like women from like 50s to 70s, because women are so familiar with what it feels like to have your rights denied to you and taken from you. And I feel like women really sort of know more about what's at stake.
I think that after January 6th, we all saw what happened. And it was like, oh my God, like this is an inside job. The cavalry didn't come. You saw what they were doing. Total insurrection. We all know who ordered it. And then when Biden came back in and they were not prosecuted and that was not handled, and then he was allowed to run again, I think it broke something in those of us that care about democracy, that centrist, democratic, we're going to govern incrementally. We're not going to rock the boat. And here's what I think the fundamental problem is with centrist Democrats. There is always a deference given to patriarchal structures. Like even centrist Democrats are still chasing some sort of fiscal conservative, socially liberal voter. They're not saying, if you want to keep voting for that, you don't give a shit about people, that's fucking fine. We're going to grow the base. We don't want you anyway. But there's always this reach out by the system, whether it be Democrats or Republicans, to cater to a white privileged person. And the only reason that Merrick Garland didn't prosecute Trump was because they were worried about what those type of people may think. Will that break these people? And it was the biggest mistake. And Biden passed a lot of really good, robust legislation. He did a really shitty job marketing it.
Yeah.
But the fact that he did not, and his DOJ did not prosecute Donald Trump. And he should have, before he appointed the person, say, are you going to fix this and make sure the people who did this are held accountable all the way up to the top? And that will be the biggest mistake because it's so bad right now. I don't know that we make it to the 2026 elections. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being dead serious. They are going to declare martial law. He's talking nonstop about the Insurrection Act. He is sending Texas troops to Illinois, and they are priming the public for some fucked up redneck civil war where the don't tread on me guys are not fighting the government now. I guess they're going to go fight for the government and the whiplash to end all whiplash. And it's just absolutely terrifying. But the biggest thing for me right now, Republicans are Republicans. MAGA, MAGA. They wake up, they lie, they rinse, repeat. Doesn't faze me, doesn't affect me in the least. Where my main focus is in the Democratic Party, who's fucking fighting and who's saying, I'm getting rid of corporate donations. I don't care if I get reelected or not. I want my legacy to be that I did everything I could do to save American democracy. And you just don't see that. There's a few, but the majority of them are acting like this is fucking normal and we're going to have midterms in 2026 and there's going to be a blue wave. And I'm like, hello, are you not listening? Are you not seeing? Like, they're not fucking around. Stephen Miller is a fucking joke, but he's dead serious about everything he's going to do. And so I don't focus as much on what they're doing. I focus more on what the resistance is doing because I have higher standards and a higher expectation of people who aren't brainwashed to step up to this and to respond appropriately to this. And because there's no appropriate response to all the shit they're doing other than they're fucking fascist morons. Move on, jump to the solution. What are your thoughts on that?
So as far as the resistance, I mean, it's out there and it's pretty hardy. We just need more people. We need more people to show up. And I think, again, the biggest message that could be sent to this country club fascist, soft-handed pussy Nazi administration is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 million people in the streets of DC while he's at historically low poll numbers, his 100-day presidential poll, lowest in recorded history, 200-day lowest in recorded history. The Epstein files is just bubbling like a volcano that's ready to blow. Gaza's a nightmare. Ukraine's a nightmare. Tariffs are bullshit. The economy's not good. He's flailing. And it's sometimes it's hard for us to recognize how bad he's flailing because all of the flood the zone, Steve Bannon strategy, flood the zone bullshit, where we just feel bombarded constantly. ICE is in Chicago and, Trump's neck pussy said something really mean today and whatever it is. But he's also losing like 95% of his court cases. His poll numbers are in the toilet. He's losing his base. He's losing support, even from the cultists. So right now is the time. We're going for it. Me and the groups and coalitions, the Removal Coalition, people with Flair, American Opposition, all these groups, we're banding together and we're pushing for November the 22nd to shut down DC. We're calling it Remove the Regime, DC Shutdown. And our goal is to just get so many people there that the aesthetics of it will be undeniable to the rest of the world because Canada needs to see it. Mexico needs to see it. The conversation that the three of us are having right now, world leaders are also having these conversations. Former CIA are having these conversations. All these very powerful and well-resourced people in our country and around the world are having these same conversations and wondering, how do we get rid of this elderly pedophile in a diaper? and there's a way. And I think as citizens, our main job is to give the optics and thereby the permission structure for them to do whatever needs to be done. And the way that we do that is to shut down Washington, D.C. So that's my main goal right now.
I agree with you that the optics campaign is incredibly important right now because of what you mentioned, the flood the zone. And it feels like, and authoritarians do this intentionally, they flood the zone so that you feel overwhelmed and that you'll descend into nihilism and not give a shit about anything anymore. And so many people, blue dots in red states, blue states, people that are probably triple trumped are like, motherfucker, I fucked up. He was exciting. He was kind of a nut. He was fucking crazy. And so I thought, fuck it, I'm going to vote for the crazy guy. A lot of these people have regrets and they have triple Trump remorse or, whatever. And I think that seeing something, whether it's online, shutting down DC, will connect us all, because during Trump 1.0, the pussy hat parade, you felt the resistance. You felt it with everything in you. And there were a lot of other, always in New York, there's a lot of fuck Donald Trump. There's a lot of just in your face, fuck this guy. And more than anything, industry titans follow this. Mm-hmm. If you look at what happened with Black Lives Matter, industry titans followed this and then started DEI programming, which of course, the white guys that are unqualified that are running the country right now, the last thing they want is a meritocracy because they can't, get hired in that. So they oppose DEI. But the optics of Black Lives Matter, when everybody Instagrammed the black square, cascading onto multiple marches, multiple cities, raised awareness, because I saw people that I fucking know are 1,000,000% racist. I know they're racist. I've heard them say racist shit, and they posted the Black Lives Matter square because of peer pressure. And I feel like there's something that we all can do in that regard, because if we could put pressure on industry titans, and we can put pressure then on some centrist Republicans that want to get reelected, that, they want to be in Congress forever. There is leverage that an optics campaign can have, because we've seen it with all other protests. And this Trump 2.0, I think when they didn't charge him with anything, it broke something in all of us. It really broke us. And so, I'm hopeful when I see you doing that. It fires me up. And I know that when Angie and I are on our podcast, just calling them motherfuckers and pussies and pink arms, everybody fucking loves that shit, because it's a layup to make fun of these guys. I mean, it's for a comedian, the comedy, it writes itself. I mean, Stephen Miller, are you kidding me? That guy. But I agree with you. What's the date again of your DC thing?
November 22nd. And so that's a Saturday. We're actually going to start on the 20th. But I want to tell you, so on that Thursday, we're going to lead people into the halls of Congress. A lot of citizens don't know you can walk in to all these Congress buildings. All you do is go through a little security check like TSA. And once you're in there, you can go knock on Mike's door and say, I want you to know it's okay that you're gay. And you don't have to keep praying it away. Just be yourself. You like getting pegged? You like getting pegged. Just come over to our side and we'll be nice to you. So we're going to do that Thursday. We'll have a different action on Friday. And then Saturday, we're hoping that will be the biggest numbers, of course, because people can be off of work. So.
Okay, let's play our game, Had It or Hit It. Oh my God. Welcome to Had It or Hit It. I would hit it. Had it. I hit it every day, sometimes twice a day. So Cliff Cash, had it or hit it, Nancy Mace.
Oh, I would never hit a woman. Oh, no. Oh, had it. Sorry, I forgot to hit. You meant that with intimacy. I was thinking of striking. Nancy Mace is the worst person alive. I love that Nancy Mace is like, am I just supposed to answer, or can I roast Nancy Mace?
No, go roast her.
Go.
I love that she's so attention hungry. There's one trans person in Congress, and Nancy Mace just spent like weeks talking about which bathroom the person was going to go to. And she was like, I'll use any bathroom. I don't care. And Nancy Mace is like, stop being easy to get along with. I got to make some drama out of this. And she's just on Instagram every day talking about this. In the meantime, she wants to protect children. In the meantime, the judge that oversaw the Dylan Roof shooting case in Charleston, remember this kid that shot up the black church? This little MAGA incel. He's like, nobody will fuck me. I got to kill some people that look different than me. The judge that oversaw that case said Dylan Roof's family are victims too. And everybody, I mean, he got famous for making that comment. He's now, it's now been exposed that he is the worst kind of pedophile, like babies, like newborn baby. I don't even want to talk about it. but this is a South Carolina Republican. This other guy in South Carolina, R.J. May, who is a member of the Freedom Caucus and one of these like, watch out for books, they'll make you gay people trying to ban books, has just gotten caught for child sexual abuse material and was like fighting it and being like, this is a setup and blah. And then like a week ago, he pled guilty. And it's weird that Nancy Mace wants to protect the kids so bad, but she's not on Instagram every day talking about either one of those people. She's completely failing, to mention with her giant cross earrings dangling. I also love that she went to the U.S. prayer breakfast. These are like evangelicals that call masturbating self-abuse. Like these are people that like don't think you should look at your wiener. And she got up and like gave a speech and she was like, I tell you what, I was getting out of bed today and my boyfriend was like, come back to bed. And I was like, I can't. I got to go to the Christian thing. And I'm like, how tone deaf are you? Because I grew up with these people. Like, if you don't raise your hand while you're singing, you don't love the Lord. Like, the fact that she said that in front of those people is just like, you have zero self-awareness. Totally.
I saw that too.
Had it.
I think it just shows that some people at the prayer breakfast, they believe that shit. They think the earth is 6,000 years old. They think Mary was a virgin. They believe that people used to live to be 950 years old. They believe that God committed genocide, except for Noah and 2 animals, and he floated around well. Some people literally believe that shit. And then there are the manipulators, like I would say Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, JD Vance, Donald Trump, who know all of that is bullshit, who know that is Iron Age magical thinking, but they know how easy it is to manipulate these people. And you know who else enters through the prayer breakfast to gain a manipulatable population? The Russians and the NRA. 100%. Those 2 entities are everywhere around the national prayer breakfast because they know where are the dumbest Americans imaginable and who represents them. All of these people at the national prayer breakfast. Okay, next up. Cut it or hit it, JD Vance, who my official nickname for him is failed drag queen, smoky eye sociopath, Lil Smokey.
I mean, I think you said it all. I love that this guy, like a week or so ago, he's on Twitter or whatever it's called. And somebody is talking about the bombing this speedboat out of Venezuela. And people are like, yeah, oh, the dude from, I think it was a guy from Pod Save America said it's a war crime. And he said, I don't care what you call it. I don't give a shit what you call it. And it's like, why are you acting tough, dude? You have a volleyball face. Like, you have to grow a beard so we can all see where your fucking face starts. You wear mom jeans. Like, you are not tough. And the fact that these people have this steel wall built around them and this 24-hour security detail allows them to act tough. JD Vance is a fucking weakling who's changed his name 3 times. His real name's Jonathan David Bowman. Like, I don't even know where Vance came from. He was just like, I like Vance. He just, what grown man changes their name 3 times? And then he was gay in college. And then he's a hardcore Christian, but they're raising their kids Hindu/Christian, which I don't care about because I'm not a dumb bigot. But it seems like something you should address if you are a dumb bigot. I just think JD Vance is one of the biggest pieces of shit that's ever lived. A guy who has literally no moral rudder. I mean,
right.
He's on a recording bashing Donald Trump. Telling people they're idiots for voting for him, calling him a Nazi, calling him Hitler. And my theory is that when it was time to pick a VP, somebody was like, what about JD Vance? And then somebody else goes, nah, man, he called him Hitler. And Donald Trump was like, he called me Hitler? That's so nice. Like, I think that's why he hired him. I think that was the decision.
But the real reason he hired him is because Trump wanted Peter Thiel's donations. He wanted Silicon Valley's donations. And when you dig into Peter Thiel, here's the thing that I've talked about. This is my personal theory. Think about JD Vance before he was a senator. He was chubby. He wasn't dressed very well. His hair was kind of a mess. Then he goes out and he works for Peter Thiel in Silicon Valley. All right. Peter Thiel is an out of the closet gay man. I get massive gaydar pings from Lil Smokey. I don't know what happened out there.
100%.
I know that Lil Smokey came back and he looked like he got queer-eyed. He was thin and trim. He had the beard, which is a much better look than the pudgy face that he had before. His hair's a lot more kept. And I think JD Vance queer-eyed the shit out of him, probably pegged him as well multiple times. And I think Peter Thiel said, Trump, I'll give you the money, but this is my guy, because here's what they're banking on. Here's what the oligarchs are banking on. Biology. They want Kanks. That's what we call Trump, short for Kankles. They want Kanks to drop dead while he's in office so that they can transfer power to JD, who they own and who Peter Thiel has queer-eyed and more than likely pegged, in my opinion. I don't know that that's fact, but I think that happened. I think that they're pegging.
I've always thought so.
I thought so. And so JD Vance cannot run a general election. He cannot win. Nobody likes him. Horrible approval ratings. There's nothing likable about the guy at all. He can't even take up for his brown kids. So he's never going to go far in a general. But the oligarchs, in my opinion, are banking on Kanks dropping dead and then JD Vance ascending, and all the fuckers at the Supreme Court are all about putting all of that power in the executive, because Peter Thiel's friends with this guy named Curtis Yarvin, who these guys are so weird. They've just decided, you know what? I don't like democracy anymore. We're rich. We can do whatever the fuck we want to. And we think it should be like this, but they know they can't win. So they paid off people like JD Vance and fucked him off along the way, as we have mentioned before. And that's what I'm terrified what they're going to do. They're banking on the biology, and then everything's going to be transferred to the worst. And JD Vance is a million times smarter and worse of a person than Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is so predictable. Every day I can wake up, I know exactly what that motherfucker is going to do. He's going to talk about himself and his grievances and his decorating projects. That's the list. That's the list all day, every day. JD Vance is a little foot soldier, or should I say ass soldier, for these demon queens and DL demon queens. Sorry, Pops.
I think Mike Johnson's wife probably prayed the gay away for JD. So it's probably good now. Yeah, I think Peter Thiel totally groomed him in every sense of the word.
I do too.
And I think he's bankrolled his entire existence. JD Vance wouldn't be anything without Peter Thiel. And yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said. And it's just a whole nother rabbit hole, the whole Curtis Yarvin thing. And like they worship this guy like he's Yoda. And like best I can tell, he's pretty unimpressive. I mean, he's kind of a rich kid that did some rich kid shit, and he like thinks he's a modern day, less altruistic Plato, but he's just a dipshit who talks a lot and writes it down. Like, I don't think he seems smart. I don't think he seems particularly successful. And it's kind of fascinating that they all worship him. I'm curious to know how or why, but I think JD Vance, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Stephen Miller, Russell Vought, maybe Kevin Roberts of Heritage Foundation. I think those are truly the most dangerous men in the United States. And I don't just think, I've said this for a very long time, which is why I formed the DonaldLovesVladimir.com website. I do think Donald Trump is a Russian asset.
I do too.
I'm not saying that I think he's like a spy and he has a spy phone and he's able to do really top secret shit, because he's not smart enough for that.
Right.
But he is on the take. And I'm just going to plant this seed for the viewers, and I can only say what I can say. A lot of people think that what the Russians have on Donald Trump is P tapes.
Yeah.
And it's not. It is something that has P and T in it, but it's not P tapes. It's a man named Paul Tatum. And everyone should research him. And I'm telling you that is what the Russians have on Donald Trump is Paul Tatum. Rest in peace, Paul Tatum. And Mike Johnson wasn't misspeaking when he said that Donald Trump was an informant. Donald Trump was an informant. And you don't become an informant by being a Jesus bald eagle patriot man. You become an informant when your other option is prison, is life in prison. And Donald Trump's other option was life in prison. And that's why he became an informant. And it's one of the many reasons he doesn't want people to see the Epstein files, because he wasn't an informant because he's a good guy. He was an informant because he's a very fucking bad guy. But I think that these guys are all also connected to Russia, which is so pitiful to me, because here's another small man acting big, a weak man acting strong. Vladimir Putin is another fucking mental midget. He's a weakling. His country hates him. The inflation is through the roof. It's a 20-something%. Unemployment is through the roof. Alcoholism is through the roof. It is a failing economy. It's a military economy that can't even succeed at that. They can't even beat this tiny country, even after we've clearly stopped helping them. And he's having to borrow troops from North Korea to fight his wars because none of his people want to fight for him. And many of them already fled the country to avoid fighting for him. And that's who we're letting dictate our country, is this fucking loser, this little person, this little 5'7" elderly fucking Russian loser. It's like, it's one thing to bow down to some dictator, but don't bow down to this pussy who, it's like, it's so embarrassing. But all of this is happening with Musk and Thiel and all these other country club incels. It's all happening in the greater context of the BRICS nations. We aren't just becoming beholden to Russia. We're becoming beholden to Russia, which is the most obvious one. But the whole BRICS nations, they are repositioning the country to align us with all these dangerous and destructive entities around the world instead of all the democracies around the world. And we'll see what those democracies are willing and able to do about it. I think it could possibly come down to that. But if you look at all these decisions, things that benefit Brazil and South Africa and China and India, these are the BRICS nations. I mean, everything we are now doing is to benefit our new friends, which are, and to see all these dirt road dipshit dollar store rednecks pretend that they're patriots while they lick Russian boots and enable further superiority of China is just so gross and pitiful.
Okay, had it or hit it, Bad Bunny.
Hit it. I mean, I don't necessarily want to actually hit it, but I think he's great. I think anyone that's pissing off the Nazis is my friend.
That's the way I am. I was never a Swiftie until Donald Trump tweeted, totally. I hate Taylor Swift, and I was a full-blown Swiftie immediately.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to some Bad Bunny music. One of the things that I love, I'll occasionally see a post about him, and I'll read, 'cause I don't know much about him. I'm kind of like old guy now. I like what I like. I listen to the same music. I think they call it stomp and holler. I listen to like old rap. But Bad Bunny, I'll see a post about him, and all the comments are these MAGA simpletons, and they're like, send him back to his country and revoke his green card and deport him. And just all, it's like, dude, he's a U.S. citizen, you dumb bastard. And that's another thing. I think Democrats, when we are back in power after the Civil War, we should, Puerto Rico deserves to vote. And let's just move on from this. Let's maybe get rid of the Electoral College.
Agree.
Term
Let's restructure
limits
the
for
whole
Supreme
thing.
Court justices, oversight committee for justices.
Let's make it a felony to knowingly lie on network television or on a large social media platform. Like, because these people, I mean, in the last 3 weeks, Brian Kilmeade says homeless people should be euthanized. And then Jesse Waters says we should bomb the UN. And they don't, nothing, like no threat of losing a job, no suspension, no anything. And then Jimmy Kimmel says that maybe Charlie Kirk Shooter was really MAGA and he loses his job, luckily only for a day or two. But that's what these people are doing. Heritage Foundation is doing it to me right now. They have taken a photo of me protesting out in front of Heritage Foundation wearing a hoodie that I designed on Canva. It's not real high tech. and it's called the John Brown Hunting Club. It's just a shirt. But, John Brown was an abolitionist, and I admire him. He did what he had to do. I'm a big anti-racist guy. So it says John Brown Hunting Club, no quarter for Nazis. And they took that, a picture of me, and then a picture of some flyer with different colors, different font, different everything called John Brown Club, that some flyer that's being handed out at Georgetown University that says, it's got the little tagline from the Charlie Kirk thing, "Hey, fascists, catch." And it says, "We're the only group that celebrates when Nazis die." And it's got a QR code and it says, join John Brown Club. And it's like different words, different colors, different font. Like, they know it's not me, but they are trying to scare me by putting my picture and my name up there, saying that I'm the organizer of Flair. And I'm not. I'm a friend of Flair. I'm a big supporter. I didn't organize it. And saying that I'm putting out this, because they know that these incels will get really mad at me for any Charlie Kirk related stuff, even though Charlie Kirk would let them.
Here's the
choke them
thing.
on it for a
Here's the
nickel.
thing. We need to talk about this, and then we got to go. We're going to time out. But here's the thing. I think if Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, the evidence is that he is MAGA. The evidence is not that he is some leftist. The fact that if indeed he had a trans person with whom he was in relationship with, that further exacerbates the MAGA claim, because otherwise he would be an out of the closet, functioning person that's in a relationship. And here's the thing. We haven't seen anything. We haven't heard anything. I don't believe jack shit that Cash, Crazy Eye, Patel has to say. I think they cook the books. I think they find a bullet and they're like, anti-fascist.
I like gay. Why does this bullet say I like gays on it? They just know how dumb their base is. Their base thinks that an elderly pedophile can get hit in the ear with an AR-15 round and it'll regrow in 3 days. They're not smart. And these are people that say they love guns. You don't love them enough to understand how they work, you dumb motherfucker.
It's just, it's insane. But I want to encourage all of our listeners, if you need to feel like somebody's fighting and you just feel overwhelmed during the day, what's your Instagram? Cliff Cash Comedy?
Cliff Cash Comedy on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
TikTok?
I got banned from TikTok for telling the truth too many times.
Oh, that's a badge of honor. But anyway, go follow him, you guys. It's so good. Pumps and I went down the rabbit hole, and that bit about him saying Mike Johnson is gay and always returning to it, that's on. You will be in tears. It's so satisfying. And it's a very important reminder of why comedy is so important, why comedy is so American, and why MAGA hates it so fucking much is because Cliff fucking rips the shit out of these people. And it is hilarious. Cliff Cash, thank you so much. Please reach back out to us. Maybe we'll try to make it to DC for your event.
That's one of the things we're pushing is like getting as many influencers there as possible. And we want to make marketing videos that are like 30 influencers in one video saying, I'm going to be in DC, join me. I'm going to be in DC, join me. And getting people to use their following to pull people out. Everybody has a different reason that they'll come. Some people will come because they're veterans and veterans groups are asking them to. Some people will come because they love you guys so much and they want a chance to hear you speak.
Let's face it. What's not to love?
I love it. When I first found,
I've had it broad. It's going to be a fucking barn burner lying around the fucking White House.
I'm all about it.
Pumps will even threaten to show her sagging dragons. And I tell you what, I think the whole damn country.
I'll flash everybody my boobs.
What is it? The shaved husky?
Oh, her Siberian husky.
No, when I first saw you guys on TikTok, I was like, what is this? And I say this all the time. I'm in Florida right now. By the way, I would never have wallpaper at the top of my wall. Okay. I want to be really clear about that.
I'm so glad you said that.
I'm in a shitty quality inn. And I have more in my checking account than I have in a long time, but still not enough to not stay in a shitty quality inn. I'm a baller on a budget, very frugal. But the first time I saw you guys, I was like, ooh, this is refreshing. because my favorite people are liberal Southerners.
I do think it's so important to never forget all of the blue dots and red states, because I agree with you. We're built different, and you don't just get to walk outside and breathe the liberal air. You got to fucking search for any. And what people don't understand is if you live in a red state, you have a regressive conversation every single day.
Yeah.
You have regressive conversations with people, and it's so stunting to try to have a conversation about progress when people are so emotionally stunted. But Cliff Cash, we could talk to you forever. Thank you so much for bringing your grievances and your comedy to I've Had It, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you for using your voices the way you do. I truly admire you and appreciate you.
All right. Bye, Cliff.
Bye. I love him.
I just love Cliff Cash. He's so funny.
You know what I loved? I mean, it's just so nice when you talk to people. Like we talk to each other, we talk into the podcast, the podcast air. JD Vance, he completely gets a gaydar ping. Mike Johnson, like we're not just bullshitting people. It's a pattern of behavior. These people are mean and hypocritical because of what they do in their own lives. And then other people from other parts of the world get it. That makes me like, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pumps, I have to tell you, a lot of people were on the JD Vance, Mike Johnson being gay thing long before we were.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we invented it.
Right. Right. It is outside of MAGA world. It's a pretty large consensus that there is a lot of DL demon stuff, and always been the consensus within, when you look at the Republican Party at large, you have a lot of emotionally stunted, sexually repressed, Bible thumping individuals that are horrifically ashamed of feeling lust or normal attraction to somebody of the same sex or opposite sex or whatever. And so, I think he is hilarious. I love the work he's doing. I love that he's not just a comedian, but that he is out really trying to make a difference. And I really agree with him on the optics stuff. I feel like there has to be a major push from progressive causes to push the politicians that we do have to fight and push the titans of industry to understand that we are your customer base. Big blue cities, that's where all the money is. Those are the economic hubs.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Patriots, gay triots, they triots, black triots, brown triots, and all of MAGA can do what, Pumps?
Fuck off!
All right, there's our little beaver. All right, Pumps, what have you had it with?
Okay, what I've had it with, and this happened to me yesterday, that people act offended and like you've insulted them if you say, oh my gosh, your dog is so fluffy and cute. Look at their belly. They take it personally like you called them fat. That happened to me at dog school. I saw a friend that I hadn't seen in a while. She had this really fat, cute dog. And I was like, oh my gosh, your dog is so big. Look at her belly. So cute, blah, blah, blah. It was an immediate, I'm offended. Like I had looked at her and said, you're ugly and fat. I was like, it's cute. Like, so I'm backtracking and I'm like, why are you taking personally something about my dog? About your dog. I think that's weird. Am I wrong?
I would 100%. If somebody said something disparaging about my animals, I would behave in the very similar fashion.
Okay, so I'm the asshole.
I kind of think so. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need to be fat shaming a dog. All right.
It was cute.
And that dog, is probably the best relationship that person has in her life, because I know for me, the relationship that I have with my dogs is my best relationship. And so I very much, if somebody was like, oh my God, look at your dog, he's so ugly or she's so ugly, I would be like, because French bulldogs are kind of so ugly that they're cute, but I don't ever want to say that, So I kind of think that I hate it, Pumps, because I want to be on your team on every grievance. But, you've for years browbeat me for being a nut about my dogs. And I kind of have to go team dog on this.
Okay. Because I was just like, if somebody said Ollie was fat, it wouldn't be like they called me fat, but
Okay,
that's the vibe I got.
pump the brakes. Listener, this woman that you're listening to right now, when she got her little French bulldog, Oliver Glizzard, she enrolled him in the doggy daycare that my dogs go to. And then she began psycho stalking the Instagram page and noticing when her other dogs were posted and her dog wasn't. And then she would screenshot the post like a psycho and send it to me. Why aren't they posting my dog? My dog's every bit as cute. My dog is, yeah, you did all of those things.
What about the birthday?
And listen, I support it.
No, you were all in.
I was all in on, your dog needs more FaceTime. We even talked to the owner of Bark of the Town in Oklahoma City and just said, look, Pumps is psycho. She's a new mother and her dog is not getting the social media airtime that other dogs are. And what's up with that? She immediately rectified and did like a carousel of your dog, which we all screenshot, liked, heart, favorited. So you're just as big of an asshole as the person with whom you had the grievance.
I'm a hypocrite. I see it now. Thank you for the reminder, because I also went in and told the dog owner when she posted Ollie's birthday photo, like on Cha-Cha, she was like, sweet Cha-Cha, we love her. She's such a good friend to everybody at school. And mine just said, for Oliver Glizzard, who by all accounts is not, he's really good to me and he's sweet to me, but he is not the best dog on the planet to other people and other dogs. He's a problem.
He doesn't quote, play well with others.
He doesn't play well with others. Correct.
Yeah. And there was an incident outside the dog school where he lunged at a dog 10 times his size a few times. And if not for your affectionate relationship with the owner of the school, I do think that he would be kicked out of the school. I think he would be expelled, because Cha-Cha was once bitten by a dog at school and that dog was immediately expelled. Oliver Glizzard has had multiple nips. Yeah. And the owner of Bark of the Town, Stephanie, just loves you so much, because what's not to love, and has such a strong affection for you, that Oliver Glizzard is. But here's the thing, listener. Oliver Glizzard, when he goes to school, he has to stand in his own pen, because that's how naughty he is at school. So he's in timeout and he watches all the other dogs play.
Yeah. I have to carry him in. And then they put little dogs that he's friendly with in throughout the day. But yeah, I browbeat her that his birthday, she just said, happy birthday, Oliver. I was like, obviously you don't like Oliver.
No, you called me first. You called me first, screenshot the thing and then sent it. And then you sent another post where it was like, I think it was my dog. All of these, Cha-Cha is such a great student. She's a great friend. She's a great sister.
So sweet.
She's a great dog, super attractive, super photogenic, very congenial, great personality, blah, blah, blah. Happy birthday, Cha-Cha. And then Oliver's was like, happy birthday, Oliver Glizzard, period. And so Pumps texts both of them to me and then calls me up, mattered and hornet, about the disparity in adjectives describing her dog versus my dog. So you have, your grievance, you know what it is, Pumps? You spot it, you got it.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. I'll own it.
That happens to me all the time.
Mm-hmm. Spot it, got it. I'm guilty as fuck. And I just want to tell everybody, I am a hypocrite, not just in that. I'm the biggest. I hate holiday rushers, hate them. And I always say, don't put your lights on so early, blah, 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 blah. My lights are up and running before Thanksgiving. I'm a hypocrite. I actually enjoy it. So again, spot it, got it. Here I am.
You know what, Pumps, happens to the best of us. I am one of the biggest offenders of spot it, got it, for sure. I mean, for sure. I'm like, gosh, she sure was bossy. Think about me saying that. The bossiest bitch in all of podcasting. Like, oh, she sure thinks highly of herself. It's pretty rich coming from me, right? Okay, moving along. Let me tell you what I've had it with.
Okay.
I've had it with Switzerland.
Yeah.
Switzerland for years, my entire life. You could say, I don't know, I'm Switzerland on this issue. I don't have an opinion. I'm Switzerland. Famously, the Swiss have no opinion about anything. until the United States gets its very first fragile ego, blowjob giving dictator named Kanks. And then all of a sudden, Switzerland is bending over, much like the aforementioned Kanks did with the blowjob to Bubba, but they're bending over to Bubba because they want to reach around, pun intended, for their tariffs.
Right.
And so Switzerland, who famously doesn't take a position on anything, you take a position with this idiotic danger to the entire world, and you bend the knee to this dried up old queen in his Marie Antoinette era that's torturing everybody. Now Switzerland decides to take a position on something. I have had it from top to bottom. I am boycotting Switzerland, despite one of my favorite tennis players being from Switzerland, Roger Federer, and doing a whole ad campaign trying to promote Switzerland. Furthermore, I think we should all boycott Rolexes. Yeah. Rolex is probably, has a bank account that could choke a bull. They're rich as shit. And they wanted a tariff exemption on their watches, like rich Americans need said exemption. And for the record, I think tariffs are bullshit. But as it always goes to show, these tariffs are always going to be parasitic off of the working class and all the fat cats that want to go buy Rolexes and want to support Switzerland, the famous, we're not taking a side unless it's a dictator that rounds up people with men wearing masks and kidnaps them, all law 1930s Nazi Germany style. Then we take a stance. I've had it. I've had it with Rolex. I've had it with Switzerland. The capitulation to this man from people in his administration, from industry titans to other countries, to just the people that live down the street, who used to be kind of decent people, but they were like, oh, they're kind of conservative, but you know what? They're a really nice person. Now, even they're a really nice person is gone, because these people that personally treat you as though they think you're stupid. They think, like people that I know in Oklahoma City that triple trumped have the audacity to look at me and say, oh no, I'm all for gay rights. No, actually you're not. And you proved it 3 times in a row. 3 fucking times. You have proven that you're okay with racism and or a racist yourself. And you're okay with all of the homophobia and transphobia. So don't treat me like I'm a dumbass on this issue. I probably am a dumbass on a lot of other issues. But on this issue, no, you're a hypocrite that is trying to find a permission structure because you value money more than you do human beings. And you use your faith to act like you're a decent person when the actual use of your faith exposes you for being the short-sighted, narrow-minded, anti-intellectual hypocrite that you actually are. And I put Switzerland, the MAGA Republicans, the MAGA Christians, the oligarchs, all of the Republicans in the Senate, all the Republicans in the House, the Democrats that take AIPAC money, I put all of them in the same clump together. This is the time to either fucking stand up for something or be a pussy. And Switzerland chose being a pussy, and all of these other people have chosen being pussies, and I have had it. And in this era where we desperately need moral clarity, listener, we can all continue to form communities and build our pro-democracy ecosystem and fight for the marginalized and fight for human rights and fight for this country. And we don't have to be performatively religious or performatively patriotic. It's bullshit. And look at how underwater this man's numbers are. Everyone is fleeing like rats, jumping from a ship. This whole thing is sinking. And everybody that bent the knee, your record will remain.
I completely agree. I took the Swiss government move. I took Switzerland's move way more personally than I did like the bribe from Qatar or Saudi Arabia. I expect that kind of thing, but I was a little taken aback by that. And then you were lumping in the MAGA Christians and the evangelicals. And for me, who was a part of that movement, to see the moral collapse of people that will sit and defend, like, for example, talking with the family member after Charlie Kirk was murdered. And, well, this was the exact response. Well, it's just the rhetoric's got to stop. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? that you are acting like the rhetoric is on the liberal side. Donald Trump runs around saying, let's arrest people, let's hang people, all, the scumbag. It's unbelievable, but it boils down to cognitive dissonance for me. They are able to package it up neatly in a bow. As long as I'm making money and my 401k looks good, I will make any concession. I will compromise ethics and morals for money. And I just feel like it'd be easier to say, I don't give a shit about anything but money. That would be more honest.
And racism.
And misogyny. Yeah. And
because the person you're talking about that you were talking to is an unrepentant racist,
right?
And bathes in that. And the problem with the Charlie Kirk argument that this person used with you is the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk used was absolutely horrific.
Right.
And when you think about how little the Republican Party and the MAGA movement and the MAGA Christians care about Charlie Kirk, he died talking about gun violence and trying to blame it on Black people while he was shot by a white guy. And since that horrific murder that we all witnessed, the Republican Party and the MAGA Christians have done zero to prevent a future murder like Charlie Kirk's. That's how little they think of him. That's how little respect they have for his life. And why is that? Because Charlie Kirk didn't respect anybody's life. So birds of a feather flock together. And Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, all of Turning Point, all of Heritage Foundation, all of MAGA, all of these MAGA Christians, they are able to be so dismissive of any solution that could remedy anybody else being killed because they don't, in fact, value life. They value hating and owning the libs. And if the libs happen to be female, Black, gay, trans, an immigrant, or a Jew, all the better to hate. Yeah. They want it served for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. These people pretend like they're Christians. They pretend like they're patriots. And in fact, these people have just been unmasked. The moral collapse has been there all of this time. These have been the homophobes and the racists. They were just more polite about it. Yeah. The only thing that's changed with Trump is now they're less polite about their racism and their worship of capitalism. Now the mask is just completely off. Welcome to I've Had It. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Angie.
She's the star of the show and the head beaver in charge. We have a producer. Her name is Kylie. There she is. You look pretty.
Thank you so much. Someone on YouTube asked my skin care routine on here, and it was a filter. So that's my advice.
You do have great skin, though.
Do you have a filter on right now?
I do. I have the lowest setting.
Well, you look gorgeous.
Thank you.
Kylie, you're cute sitting in the barrel of a loaded shotgun. So
true.
Thank you. Okay. I've got a 5-star review. It says, here for the haters. And Burger Boy writes, I very rarely leave reviews of any kind, but I heard that MAGA losers were leaving a lot of 1-star reviews, so I had to chime in. Love these ladies. Thank you for bullying the bullies. If you are MAGA reading this review, go blow Bubba.
Yes. Yes.
So that should be some kind of new theme. Like we sign off with fuck off or sign on with fuck off, go blow Bubba at the end instead of see you next Tuesday and Thursday, go blow Bubba.
It's so beautiful that the anti-gay party and the anti-drag queen party worship the biggest fucking queen on the planet that blows Bubba, has redecorated the entire White House, listens to Phantom of the Opera as loud as it'll go, is the biggest fucking washed up Liberace queen on the planet. And that's your guy. And it tells you everything you need to know about how much these people are so full of shit. It turns out their big alpha male is a big old blowjob giving queen. And listen, no disrespect. My whole friend group are gay men. My longest best friends of my life are fabulous gay men. Let me just tell you something. Speaking of Spot It, Got It, they have been whistleblowing on Kank's queen tendencies for 10 years.
Really?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you hear rumblings all the time. The thing is, he has such bad taste. He wears such horrible clothes. He's so profoundly unattractive. He does his makeup so poorly. It's just hard for me to reconcile.
No, but see, Pumps, as a woman who spent a lot of time in a gay bar,
Okay.
not all gays are the same. Not all gays are a monolith. The stereotype is the polished button-up gay, but there are plenty of gays that, just like in the heterosexual world, that don't have style, that don't know how to dress, that are, I mean, look at Liberace. I mean, there's just example after example after example. Bad taste can fall prey upon anyone. However, the taste of the gays that are artistic and are really, really, really creative outshine the straights,
By my
hands down. And so that's why you see so much great design and all of these things, concentrated fashion, photography, art, etc., concentrated in the gay movement, gay population. But I mean, any gay man will tell you there are plenty of old queens with wretched taste. I even have gay friends that say, I'm so bad at being gay. Look at how bad my taste is.
My favorite thing is after this Bubba news came out, under all of Trump's posts, people are commenting, the first gay president, congrats to the first gay president.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Okay, I've got another review. This one is 5 stars titled Bravo. And they write, congrats, you have gotten under the skin of Jesse Dippity Doo Boy Waters. You know you're doing something right when he says this isn't the type of girl to date. And that's referring to Jennifer.
Yeah, so I saw that clip. Our friend at Decoding Fox News, she did that clip and put it on her Instagram, and I saw it. And he was like, this is the type of woman, talking about me. If you go to a bar with her, she's going to mouth off and then you're going to get sucker punched. And then he tried to demean my husband for being a recovering drug addict. And what I have to say to that, Jesse Waters, is you're projecting too much, because you would get your ass beat. But my husband, the recovering drug addict, could kick anybody's ass. Furthermore, you hang out in a world of misogynists where if a woman has an opinion, you feel like people are going to get in a fight. And you say the left has all the violent rhetoric. Jesse Waters, Pumps and I saw you at the DNC. The sachet Shantae that you walked down the hallway to get to the Fox News propaganda desk was the gayest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You spend an inordinate amount of time talking about men and masculinity, so much so that now I know what you fantasize about. And it's abundantly obvious to me, as you point out, a real man doesn't do this, a real man doesn't do that. You dye your hair and you dye your eyebrows. And here's the thing, just a couple of tips. And I think the stylish gays would affirm. Your hair doesn't need to be so puffy, Jesse. Trim it down. Get a gay man in there to texturize that shit. It's like this big black poof. And let the salt and pepper come in. You don't, you reek if I get my hair dyed, which actually makes you look 20 years older. And I mean, I know that you like to work it. I saw how much pride you had in your saunter. It reminded me of RuPaul's Shantae. And so I just think when you start off your 5, the news, with, we want to talk to you about the most irrelevant podcast on the planet,
right?
These 2 ugly women. All you're doing is making us incredibly relevant. Like, it's so insane. And also, you're also talking about us because you don't want to talk about the fact that your big alpha male Kanks gives blowjobs to Bubba.
Right.
And I imagine you don't want to talk about it, Jesse, because I would imagine you'd get rock hard thinking about it behind the desk. And that could be somewhat awkward for the person running the camera. And the same goes for pink arm, soft serve, gut filled, picking on everybody's looks. When this guy, I looked it up, is I think 5 foot.
Right.
And chubby as all get out. And he has a face for radio as well. So, I mean, whatever. Keep talking about us.
He reeks of 2-pump chump to me, Greg Gutfeld. I mean, I'll just say this. He has absolutely no business pointing out anyone's looks. I'm just going to leave it there.
And here's the thing. It doesn't hurt our feelings. It doesn't hurt my feelings if Greg Gutfeld thinks I'm unattractive. It means zero in my life. If anything, I'm like, wow, these 2 men at Fox sure are obsessed with us. I think they've covered us like 6 times. And each time saying they're so unpopular, their podcast doesn't have good ratings. Then why are you so obsessed with us?
Right.
Why do you keep talking about us? Oh, I know why. Because you don't want to talk about the fact that the alpha male that you worship gives blowjobs. And the question I have for you guys is maybe do it 5. Does Trump spit or swallow? Let's find Bubba. Maybe that would be a more interesting news story. But I guess because your channel is so centered on hating women and we have the accents that you think that we should be in your tribe, but we're not. And we're never going to be. And there's a lot of other women just like us. And I have a feeling that you guys know a lot of women like us. Yeah. And you know that everybody's turning away from MAGA, except for the few rubes, racist rubes, who you sit and weaponize their religion against them while you talk about and do and platform and celebrate the most un-Christ-like shit on the planet. That's your legacy.
Yeah, that is the legacy for sure.
Okay, Kylie. I'm riled up today.
You are.
I'm ready.
Okay. I have a news story. Disney is launching its first openly gay character, and it is a lesbian beaver.
I love
it. Wait, is this the first gay character? Is that possible?
I'm thinking.
They're saying it's the first openly gay character, so maybe it's going to speak on it. You know,
okay, versus the closeted gay characters they've had in the past.
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I love that it's a beaver.
Okay. I love that it's a beaver, and it's kind of hilarious that did the conservatives know about this yet?
I haven't checked. I'm sure they'll be outraged.
Oh, it will be the takedown.
Ron DeSantis.
Yes. Fox News will go on overdrive.
You know what? Jesse and Greg might have to take the night off on browbeating us because they've got a lesy beaver that they've got to go after, which one could argue you're a lesy beaver too.
I was going to say, maybe that's me. We're so popular, even though we're irrelevant on the 5, Disney's made a character after me.
Okay, this next one is man keeping is the 2025 workplace inequality crisis women can't ignore. And the definition of man keeping is it describes the invisible emotional labor women perform to manage men's emotions, not just at home, but increasingly at work. And it says women are often the default emotional managers in workplaces, expected to smooth over tension after meetings, listen to male coworkers vent, organize birthdays and team bonding, and absorb emotional outbursts with grace.
I mean, I can think of a person who has to do this all the time. It's Susie Wiles at the White House, the White House chief of staff. Can you imagine?
No.
The man keeping that woman has to do because she's got kinks. And then she's got failed drag queen Lil Smokey. Yeah. She has the Jewish Nazi Stephen Miller. She has the demon queen, Scott Bessent. And don't forget that Scott Bessent got into a fuck you fighting match with Elon Musk. Right. Mind you, it's always women are too emotional and all of this stuff. The MAGA movement and the 2 individuals at Fox, Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld, and all of the MAGA men have proven that men are too emotional and petty to be in charge of anything. I mean, truly.
Yeah. I mean, you look at my favorite example is Brett Kavanaugh snot slinging at his confirmation hearing. I mean, just crying boohoo. And then you have Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was, they were so inappropriate asking her questions. She never raised her voice. She was always factual. She kept her shit together. The biggest myth on the planet is that women are more emotional than men. I dare say it was started by a man, and the man keeping. I've been the man keeping person at work, and it's horrible. It's like,
let me just ask you this, Pups. Okay. You were married for what, 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay. 15, 20, whatever. Anyway, how many times did you cry in the marriage versus your ex-husband?
Oh my gosh. 7,000 to 1, me being the one.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? Like, why are we crying about this? Yeah.
And this is at a time, the story about man keeping is at a time when the New York Times ran that opinion piece, or women ruining the workplace, and they had to rebrand it and rebrand it and rebrand it. And it's important that everybody realize it's not that women ruined the workplace. That's not it. It's that there's accountability in the workplace, and women have shown to be every bit as good and effective at business or whatever position it is as men, and in a lot of cases better. And there is an ego disparity among the two genders. There's one ego that can handle it, absorb it, and has to be the man keeper. And the male ego is just so much more fragile. And the prime example of that is obviously Kanks. All right, listen, we have an amazing guest today. We're super excited about her. I see her all the time on the World Wide Web. And she is an amazing podcaster and journalist. And her name is Kara Swisher, host of On with Kara Swisher. Kara,
Hi.
oh my gosh, I am so it's a big day for podcasting.
Is it a big day?
Yeah. I watch it all the time. And you look just like you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
It's her. Yeah. Here I am in my little studio.
It's a BFD.
BFD, big fucking day, because we're big fucking women. That's
exactly.
So we're throwing down, right?
Absolutely.
We are throwing down. We were just discussing before you came on the phenomenon that's taking place in the offices, and it's called man keeping, where women have to manage meltdowns of men, the emotions of men, and they have to keep the peace in the workplace.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't do that. I cause problems for men, not the other way around. But I don't suffer fools. I have 3 sons. I have 4 kids, but I have 3 sons, so I know how to handle a man. Like, let me just say, mostly if you treat them like toddlers in some fashion, it usually tends to work. But I keep a lot of men. Scott Galloway, my partner, I know he's been on your show.
He has
written a man book, Notes on Being a Man. So he needs a lot of care and feeding, I have to say.
Yeah.
What would your response have been if you were on Air Force One and you asked a question and someone had said, the president, quiet piggy?
Quiet piggy. I would not have been able to handle it. I don't have the control. I would have been like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Like, excuse me. Like, and I would have made a bigger deal out of it. I was sort of surprised that none of the other reporters said something.
Agree.
Like, I'm not surprised, actually, having been in those things, is everybody's sort of jostling for position. And, they don't want to make trouble because they do get kicked out, right? They do get kicked out or they get removed because these people are particularly, thin-skinned, essentially thin-skinned people. And so I would have been like, excuse me, what did you just say to me? Can you repeat that? I would have made him repeat it several times to create a viral situation to make it even worse. And, and I would say, sometimes with men, you know how men neg women? Like, one of the tactics I have as an interviewer or to get people, especially ones that I think are going to be a problem, is to make them uncomfortable. And men are very easy. Women are much harder to do that with. And so often, for example, I'll say, before an interview, I'll go, did you lose weight? And they'll like go, oh, and I go, no, I guess not. Like that. And they go like this. I go, no, I'm sorry. I was looking at it the wrong way. But like, it works really well. One time with Barack Obama, I shouldn't have done this, but I did it anyway. We were doing an interview and they cut my time by 10 minutes. And I have very structured. I spent a lot of time figuring out how I'm going to interview people. And they cut 10 minutes to give it to some MTV DJ or VJ. I was like, are you kidding? I'm like fine if you want to do those things, but I'm kind of pissed. And so we sat down, and it's a very formal thing when you're sitting with the president. They have the water covered, everything is it's like a ballet almost. And so he sits down, and I lean into him and I go, listen, they cut 10 minutes from my thing. And so that's kind of a pain in the ass for me, but I'll cope with it. But the fact of the matter is, you talk too much and you talk the paragraphs and you don't listen to the question. And so I'm going to interrupt you. And I know you've been president for 6 years, and everyone gets to hear you yammer on all the time, and you're not used to people interrupting you. But you better get used to it, because I'm going to really interrupt you, and you'll think it's rude because you're not used to it. but you do talk too much. And he looks at me and he goes, I heard you were obnoxious. And I go, I am. And then we went on. And then he did very pithy answers because he was like, he didn't want to be that guy kind of thing. So little tip.
Carrie, you just proved something that Pumps and I have said for a very long time. Lesbians need to be in charge of the country.
Everything.
When you really start
lesbian attitude, you can have a lesbian attitude.
Totally.
Yeah.
Lesbian energy needs to run the country because it's tough and it has a fuck you energy that the Democrats need, but it also has a maternal energy without it being toxic and codependent.
Right.
The maternal energy of a lesbian has more accountability in it. It's more pragmatic love than toxic love.
I think lesbians should raise all the men. I mean, I think my sons are fantastic. They're manly and sensitive at the same time. And they're really nice boyfriends. Like they have really nice girlfriends. And I joke about that, but I think one of the things, it is true. I tend to get along with men better than people asked, had being a lesbian hurt me as a reporter. I was like, actually, it's helped me in the area I'm in because men do want to get along with women, right? They kind of do. I don't think anybody likes sort of the binary that we've created between men and women. And it's sort of like one is up and one is down. Nobody's comfortable with that, I think. And I think one of the things is men really want to get along with women. And in my case, there's no stakes, right? There's no emotional stakes. I don't want to sleep with them. There's no possibility that it could work. I mean, some have tried, but not very many. But it creates a much more comfortable relationship, except when they think I'm a guy, which is also uncomfortable. Like, yeah, you know, like
the locker room talk.
Well, I've actually experienced that. I was at a party and all these VCs who are like, you know, they've got the emotional range of a 12-year-old. And they're like, look at that woman, Kara. What do you think? And I was like, still a feminist. Like, doesn't, and she was good looking. They were correct. That is correct. But I didn't want to play their dumb man game with them, which is so juvenile anyway. So it's more juvenile.
All right. Kara Swisher, what have you had it with?
What have I had it with? Oh my God. I sent you a list now. Okay. I know the one thing that I may be different than what you guys said, but I decided these tech men especially, but a lot of men just talk too much. Like, you know how they say women talk too much? I was watching this Jensen Huang, who's the head of NVIDIA. He had a very good quarter. And he was at this weird Saudi thing that Trump put together after he finished blowing the Saudi MBS all day and night. And he was with Elon Musk, and they were just going back and forth, like, we'll work harder. It felt like Beavis and Butthead in a lot of ways. And I happen to like Jensen Huang, not Elon so much, but I was like, can you stop talking? Like, stop making speeches. Stop. Like, they all talk. They love the stage now in a way that's really, you know, we only used to have one of those business people like Lee Iacocca, and that was fine.
Yeah.
And now every business person has, like, whether it's Bill Ackman and his insane rants about things he doesn't know about, or they all need to, I've had it with them talking. I was like, you need to shush up and smile some more. That's what I would like from you ladies. You know what I mean?
I feel like the Trump administration in its attack on expertise has promoted billionaires as the experts on everything. And we've given, like, Joe Rogan will sit down with Musk. And I'm just shocked at how much deference Elon Musk is given.
Yeah. But also, he never stops talking. I was like, stop talking.
Yeah. Now, as it pertains, do you know Elon Musk, right?
I did. I haven't talked to him in years, but yeah, after he called me an asshole, but that's a different story.
Oh, that's a badge of honor.
I actually interviewed him more than anybody, probably 8 or 10 major interviews early on when he was actually not crazy. So, yeah.
And have you seen this, you know, just from our bird's eye view? I mean, it's obvious to me that he is an untreated drug addict. And I know a lot about addiction because my husband's in recovery and been to rehab a few times. I've been to family weeks, et cetera. So that's abundantly obvious to me.
Yes, it's been written about. The Wall Street Journal did a long story. A lot of people, I mean, he obviously, and he's talked to me about ketamine use, and he likes ketamine and other substances. You know, even if he denies them, it's been well reported. Yes.
I think what's so interesting to me about this group of billionaires is what a walking, talking advertisement they are against being a billionaire.
Yes.
Because if you're
Not all
a
of them.
billionaire,
Not all of them.
not all, but the ones that are choosing to bend the knee to Trump and to platform themselves and pair themselves with this man.
Yeah.
When you're younger and you think, if I win the lottery, I'm going to do this, you think about having fuck you money. And then you see these guys that have all this fuck you money, and then they have to humiliate themselves and make up trophies.
Prostrate themselves, like bringing them a statue. To me, the photo was Elon Musk New Year's Eve at Mar-a-Lago dancing to YMCA. And I just was like, I am having a good time. I have good money. I'm having a day. If I was that rich, the things I would do with the money, like I always joke, I'm like, I buy France and then give everyone a glass of wine. Like, I don't know, like something fun. Like, you're the world's richest man and you choose to be doing this at Mar-a-Lago with this asshole. Like, how interesting could Trump be, like, for that much time, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he's uninteresting, by the way. But this is where the richest man in the world decides to place himself. That to me is pathetic, actually, more than anything. So,
Pumps.
Well, what else is pathetic about the whole thing is Elon Musk is going around saying he's going to do all this Doge stuff, waste, fraud, and abuse. Yet he's not a forensic accounting expert.
right.
And that goes all through me about this whole waste,
Well, that's
fraud.
the same thing of talking too much as being an expert on things you're not an expert on, right? I mean, he's concerned about the deficit, as we all should be. But instead of us going, well, let's let some experts figure this out and let's actually have some real political commitment to doing it, he's like, I think I'll just cut where I feel like, because I know better. I'm smarter than you are on everything, like including pregnancy, including on whatever the topic happens to be.
Birth rates.
Don't you guys think this is a symptom of American culture, though, where we have worshiped money and we have given the affirmative action of expertise to these billionaires. And now it's all culminated, like starting with the Reagan era, we really started worshiping capitalism, the fuck you money of the 80s. And we as a culture have bred these people and now they act out in public ways with breathtaking impunity that they think, look, I have what everybody else wants. And I'm the expert on everything. And there's this worship and celebration of these horrible people because as a society, we have valued money more than the well-being of our citizens for several decades now.
Not just decades. It's sort of the American way, because what happens is these people who are poor are aspirational to this, right? I can do it, he can do it, I can do it. I think what's changed is through social media and their direct, like before I used to interview them all and that's how they got to people essentially, but most of them were quiet, right? You didn't, like Steve Jobs picked moments when he wanted to be public and then he really wasn't. And when he wanted to sell a phone, really, pretty much. And, he was a master manipulator of media and stuff like that, but it was I'm selling a phone here, kids. Like it wasn't to do anything else. It wasn't to pontificate on all manner of things. And I think what happened is because you're good at one thing, making money, you think you're good at everything else, right? And that we should listen to you over these things. I think the jig is up, frankly. I think people are like, shut the fuck up. Shut.
It's a real
finding
eat the
myself.
Rich moment.
It is. I think, Scott and I talked about it today on Pivot. Like something's happened, which is like, you need to tone it. You need to quiet down, that kind of thing. And especially when they're causing incredible damage to things. Like one of my other had it is these chatbots for kids. Like, no, none. This may not happen. Like OpenAI did a deal with Mattel for AI and toys. No, these kids are killing themselves when they have these relationships. Not every one of them, but there's enough of them that it starts to be a real problem. And so like, that's the kind, they don't want to take responsibility for the damage they cause. They only want to be celebrated for the things and be thanked for the things they make, which is off the back of stuff that taxpayers paid for, the internet, right? Like we paid for a lot of the things there, or universities to do research. All this stuff is because of the generosity of the American taxpayer. And instead they're like, look what we did with ours. And I was like, you did it with our, like, I don't know. I just feel like People have had it with them. I do think that's the case.
Let's talk about the psychology of certain Trumpers like Peter Thiel and Barry Weiss, who are gay. And as two women who lived in a Christian nationalist state that was far MAGA before Trump descended from the elevator. We lived in a MAGA style Christian nationalist regime. I've always known very intimately what the Christian nationalists at the Heritage Foundation and the darker forces behind Donald Trump, I've always known what they want. And that at some point they may use a lesbian here, a gay man here, Clarence Thomas, a black justice here, but I know what their end game is, that the knives will be turned on them. And I find it really fascinating, the Peter Thiels, the Scott Bessents, and the Barry Weiss of it all, when just this year, Kara, there have been 600 anti-LGBTQ plus pieces of legislation just in this calendar year.
Yes, I'm aware.
How exclusive and exceptional they must think they're magic homosexuals to somehow be exempt.
They do think that. They do think that. They do think that. I mean, it's really interesting. You could make one argument. Like there's, the Walt Whitman quote, "We contain multitudes," right? Like we're very, like not every gay is the same, just the way not every. So there's I've always experienced very conservative gay men. Like Peter Thiel is nothing new to me. Like if you live in San Francisco, there's a whole, you think it's all free love and Castro where I have a house, but it's not. There's actually a very conservative group among gay people, and including going back to AIDS. There were a lot of people who were mad at ACT UP. The reason things changed is because of ACT UP, as annoying as they could be sometimes. And the others were like, let's just be quiet and not say anything and just fit in kind of stuff. So that's not a new and fresh thing among gay people. I do think that there is an increasing number of gay people who are not gay is not the identity, the most important identity. It is wealth or status or power. Right. And so I agree with you. The minute I'm like, they'll throw you right under the bus as soon as they need to, especially the religious ones. Right?
What a luxury for Barry Weiss and Peter Thiel for gay not to be the strongest thing that identifies them, because 20 years ago it would have been.
Well, absolutely.
So it's just like Pam Bondi and Caroline Leavitt that ride the coattails of all of the women, the suffragettes, and all of the people who fought so hard for the three of us to be on this screen, and then get to, the levers of power and just the ignorance to not think at some point those knives are going to be turned at you yourself.
Well, they don't think that. I think they think that they're part of the scheme, like part of the power scheme. I mean, I'm a student of history. Do you remember Ernst Röhm from the Nazi era? You don't. He was the head of their they were the thugs. And there was a whole group of gay guys, essentially, that did all the beating up for Hitler. And the minute he needed to, he killed them all in this night of long knives. Like became a problem, their behaviors. And so he killed them immediately, even though he used them to get to power. I just don't, in the case of Trump, he'd use anybody. I don't think he has a particular agenda. I think if he felt being a Democrat would work, he'd do it. He has no values, right? I don't know. Same things I always joke, these tech guys, if Kamala Harris had won, they'd all be they, thems and drinking kombucha. That would work.
Totally.
I don't think they have any values, which is sort of more dangerous. And I think that's these people are the same way. That one speech that I think Barry Weiss gave where she said, a lot of people here, we disagree about gay things, obviously, but we all want lower taxes. And I was like, what? Oh, come on. Don't give it up so easily, right? Don't give up. To me, the power is in declaring you're gay and forcing people to accept it and be part of, to understanding it versus, we got something in common, money. It's grotesque, and I find it grotesque. But I don't expect all gay people to be progressive. I just don't. I just don't. And that is a good thing, that identity isn't just woman, gay, Black, whatever. I mean, that's kind of a positive thing. But you're right. The people you're talking about, I've always thought when gay marriage got passed, and everyone was really happy. I remember when Gavin Newsom actually was the first to really step out as a leader and do that in San Francisco. And I thought, the backlash now, because this is something that really is at the heart. I mean, the trans stuff, they hate trans people, that's for sure. But what they really hate is gay marriage. And they want to claw that back. That's my feeling. And since the beginning.
Right.
Like
It's always been on
with
the
Dick
agenda.
Cheney's recent passing, when he died, it reminded me of not only the WMDs and the lies, because I was so upset when George W. Bush was president. But one of the things that struck me about Dick Cheney that I just will never forget is he and Karl Rove and George W. Bush put on the ballot to drive out evangelicals, gay marriage as state questions so that they could win.
Yeah.
While the entire time he had a lesbian daughter.
Yeah.
That type of, I'm not going to stand up for my family members. I remember being so mortified by it back in the day.
Agree. He changed. Let's be clear. Like, look, Barack Obama was like, and Hillary Clinton were like, no gay marriage for a long time. Like no one like they didn't, of course, do legislation, anti-gay legislation. But one of the things I was thinking about lately is I'm trying to grok this Marjorie Taylor Greene shift, which is, I don't know if I trust it, right? None of us are like,
No, don't.
There's still a lizard in there. There's still like, how the right wing thinks Hillary Clinton's a lizard person. They do. They actually, I've gotten so many emails on that. But I don't trust it, but I'm sort of like, I think we should be able to accept. I think one of the things the left does too much is like, no, like you were mean 10 years ago and you can't be. So in the case of Dick Cheney, and I know a little bit about this, I think the whole family changed, including Liz Cheney, and felt regret for doing that. Right. And even though it was super damaging, and I would agree, I think it was grotesque, sort of Karl Rove, the same thing. Allowing people to shift is probably the better thing, I agree. And in the we contain multitudes. Let's have different people.
But I want to say something about Liz Cheney that I think is super important that the Democratic Party has never said, because we're so thirsty for an approval from a WASP type person that we just grab it. Liz Cheney participated in what I call the original big lie, not the 2020 election, which is the lie that physicians, after babies are born, participate in what are called fourth term abortions.
Yes. Yeah.
And this lie is so insidious and so dangerous that in our home state of Oklahoma, you have a total abortion ban because a large percentage of the population believe this lie.
Yeah, that they're pulling a baby out and killing it. Right?
And killing it. And Liz Cheney said this a couple of years on tape at a press conference before she joined the January 6th committee. So there is a lot of incubating that the Cheney family and Cheney-like Republicans,
I would agree,
do to set the psychological soil with all of this conspiracy and all of this fear mongering for fascism to take place. But I do agree with you on this. With the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, I have her on a watch. I think she's a lot more politically savvy than I ever imagined.
I have her on a watch.
I think she's on my watch list.
Should have like this.
But we are going to have a lot of people, because when Trump governs, his poll numbers always go down. People like him when he campaigns. They hate him when he governs.
Yeah,
so it is.
He's like Michael Corleone of corruption, and then Fredo when he governs. But go ahead.
Yeah. So he's face planning, and there's going to be a lot of people that are embarrassed, and they're going to be like, well, I voted for him because I like the policy and blah, blah, blah. And exactly. And, the thing is, we can't really worry about that. I think what we need to worry about is, why don't the Democrats have a 50-state strategy anymore? Why has Oklahoma been completely abandoned when in 2011, 2012, we had a 2-term Democratic governor and our education was ranking from 14th to 17th when we had Democratic leadership? Now it's 50th. Why have the Democrats pulled out of all of these places?
Or Laura Kelly in Kansas. She's a really interesting person that doesn't get enough attention. Do you know her, Laura Kelly?
I don't know her.
She's the governor of Kansas. She's a Democrat. And I saw her speak, and it was so interesting because she's so appealing. She's beloved in that state. Like, she does really well. And she's a Democrat. I wouldn't say she was conservative Democrat either. I think she's quite, I would say, progressive on many issues. And one of the things she did when I saw her, and I'm eager to talk to her, is someone said, how did you manage campaign? And she goes, I like the color red. So I put red on my signs. I don't care if it's Republican. I like it. I like red. And I didn't put Democrat. I said, I'm here to help you. Like, I'm here to help you. And this is the way I'm going to do it, through progressive, like, people first kind of things. And with Greene, here's what I would like with Greene. And again, some of the speeches she gives, I'm like, whoa, lady, what happened to you? Like,
Yeah.
I was jokingly say 3 ghosts to visit her recently on an evening. Like, she's
No
like,
shit.
you know, and suddenly,
Yeah.
where's the Christmas turkey? Like,
Totally.
boy, Christmas Day, Merry Christmas. But one of the things that I would like people to do if I got an opportunity to interview her, I'd be like, okay, love you on the affordability, love you on the Epstein stuff. Actually, she just did a really smart thing around AI and states' abilities to, I knew she'd fight with Trump about that. I'd like to go, okay, let's go over some other things. Trans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we know exactly, like, let's do trans. Let's do immigrants. I think
Immigrant
kind of
children.
like
Well,
ICE,
she is creating an argument that's going to really hit hard in flyover states. And the Democrats are getting outflanked by her on this issue. And there's a whole nother conversation we can say beyond this, but living in a red state for 50 years, I can tell you this is going to hit hard. And she says, why are we giving a blank check to Israel to kill babies and to kill Christians, and they get free health care and they get free college and we pay for it?
Right.
If you're on an algorithm where you see cats, big titties, Marjorie Taylor Greene say that, and then a vacation home, and you only see that, you're going to go, oh, well, she's not so crazy anymore. And also Trump has proven the electorate is okay if you say crazy shit and do crazy shit in your past. They're okay with that.
Right.
And so Marjorie Taylor Greene pretends now that she, or maybe it's real, that she cares passionately about Palestinian children. And I'm with you. I would say, okay, what about trans children? Because trans children in our home state right now are having to move. A lot of them don't have money because they've done a total transgender care. You can't go see a therapist. You can't go to a doctor, nothing in Oklahoma. And it's a really devastating.
It is. That's what I want to know. I was like, where are the energy? Let's ask her about the other things that so we can see that she's still the same. Like what is she change? If she's changed like correctly, she actually did a very good apology about her toxicity. Like she was very toxic. And that was I would say that was an excellent apology, but I'm like, okay, then what about this? What about this? And I think people should hold her to even though, you know, we kind of are like, oh, she's against Trump, let's bring her in. And I do think, you know, when George Conway changed or Liz Cheney did go out on a limb, she lost her entire career. Like she did. She paid the price. We still have to quiz them on the other things. And at the same time, be able to say, one of my theories around Democrats, everyone's like, oh, the progressives are taking over. Oh, the centrists are too centrist. Like, let's just we're different everywhere. We don't have to tell you what we are. You know, some of us want this, some of us want that. And again, this we contain multitudes idea, like we're different. We're just different. And if we want Mamdani in New York, or we want Abby Spanberger in Virginia, it's fine. Like there's no dichotomy. We don't have to make it. Everything is so binary.
I think it should be
now.
we to win.
We want to win. That's right.
We want to win. That's the way Republicans are.
Yeah, we want to win.
Like we want to win. If we have to run a centrist in Virginia and a Democratic Socialist in New York,
want. That's what those voters want. And to me, one of the things that drove me crazy about the Democratic Party was when they wouldn't support Mamdani. I was like, you tell young voters to vote, and then they vote, and then you tell them their vote is shit.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Their voting is all that matters. Whatever the voters want, the voters should get. And the voters will pay the price if they make a bad choice, like with Trump, for example. And those voters are paying a price now. But to me, if you let people make the choices they want, especially young people, because it's kind of about them, right? It's not about us. We're all, you know, cadavers of the future.
And it was so Trumpian of some of the Democratic leaders to not, endorse Mamdani. It was such a Trumpian thing. He won a free and fair election. He had grassroots support. He had billionaires that took him on, and he won. Kicked their ass twice by double. Yeah, kicked their ass twice by double digits. And Schumer and Hakeem was late to the party on that. Cory Booker and Kristen Gillibrand, all of them really missed the ball, because I went to Zoran's victory party in New York. I recently moved here. Yeah, and I was standing there and I thought, what a miss that you don't have the Democratic leadership who are all from this state with all of the news cameras. This excitement that the Democrats pounced all over MAGA, all over the country. And I thought, what a miss. What an absolute miss. And it just seems to be that
they're always playing defense. They're always playing defense. They're always like, oh, if we have a picture of him, then they'll say communist. I'm like, It'll just matter if and it doesn't matter what New York wants. Let New York, during that time, they were sort of all up. I think Israel was the issue, right? With whether he's anti-Semitic, I think essentially is what they were saying. And I was like, I don't recall the mayor of New York making Israeli policy. So what? So he has an opinion, like, and some of the things he said, probably problematic, but so what? So did you. Like, I think one of the things that the Democrats have to start doing, and especially because, I'm a digital expert, I'm not a political expert, although now I've had to be because business is so intersected with politics now. So is tech. It's so like now it's completely intertwined. Is that there are so many lessons to how he reached out to people and how he conducted his campaign. Same thing with AOC, same thing with a number of people that Mark Cuban's very good at it, for example. That they should have been like, wow, what did he do there? What occurred besides the, it wasn't just the videos. It really, because lots of people do videos. It was something else that he managed to capture that was very attractive to people. I think it's genuineness, really.
And I think it's refreshing in the eat the rich era that he's not beholden to any of them.
Right. I agree.
And in the split screen of everybody's social media algorithm right now, genocide on one side, AIPAC giving Trump, donating just as much as Elon Musk did to get him elected. AIPAC also funding the Democrats that wouldn't endorse him. And you see the controlled opposition. And there is a whiplash from that.
Especially with young people.
Establishment has got to understand the Democratic base has changed. My friends
young
in
people.
Oklahoma, even Gen Xers, there are some woke ass women in red states right now who are pissed. They are pissed at the misogyny from this administration. They are horrified because all of their grandchildren and their nieces watch Miss Rachel, who is a big advocate for Palestinian children. It's not just young people.
No, I agree. You have eyes. You have eyes and can see. I think that's the one thing. They're like, oh, the young people are being like manipulated by that. Like, they're not. They can see with their eyes. They can make decisions. And to me, the problem people on the internet are people 30 to 40. Actually, they're right. They're the young people get it. They're like making their own intelligent decisions, and they're not sheep at all. That I have, two sons in their 20s and two of my kids, and they think for themselves, and they have eyes. That's all I have to say and they can also at the same time say October 7th was a war crime. So's this. They can do that and not be like pick or choose. And that's what I'm talking about, the binary, because, getting back to tech, the tech demands the binary. Binary only nuance doesn't work in tech. Binary does. It's like zeros and ones, and that's it. And so that they do better and keep our attention as long as they're keeping us in a state of continuous enragement. Engagement equals enragement in this thing. And so I think I find young people to be very savvy compared to other people. But you're right. People are pissed because they can see with their eyes, essentially.
What about as we're moving forward to 2026 and the midterm elections and then 2028? What, I have serious concerns about legitimate rigging of the election, Elon Musk going in and doing things to these, dominions now bought by a Republican. As a digital expert, how concerned are you about those type things?
I think it's going to be a blowout, so it's going to be impossible for them to rig it. I just think it's going to be I think there is a groundswell. It's not eat the rich exactly. I've had enough of these fucking people. You know what I mean? I've had enough of this shit. And one of the things I'm hearing, especially, including I have a lot of conservative friends, is, I'm for border control, but not like this. I'm for, I'm a little worried about trans people in sports. I want to talk about it, but not like this. It doesn't have to, I want to think about what my kids learn in schools, but book banning, I think there's a room for Democrats to move in and say, let's have, the word common sense, to me, it's like common sense. Let's just do some common sense. And I do think it's going to be such a blowout. They're not going to be able to do this. I also think you think they're a lot smarter than they are, and they're not. Let me tell you, they're kind of like, well, the Trump people are incompetent. I mean, look what's happening with the Comey thing. I'm no fan of Comey's, by the way, but I'm like, wow. Whoa, right. You fucking idiot. I could do that better than you. I'm not a lawyer. incompetent. So I with Elon, honestly, I think they all talk a big game and their effectiveness is a lot less, right?
Yeah.
And we're all like,
Yeah.
the Saudis, they've made like 300 shitty investments. They're just rich and they can cover up their incompetence.
Right.
I am concerned. I definitely think we have to figure out and make it they're doing everything possible to make it problematic and to make it confusing and to make it was stolen, right? That they're trying to do that. Even if they don't do it, they want to create all kinds of FUD around it. I still think regular people are like, fuck this shit. I'm going to do my vote. And if they steal my vote, I'm going to be really pissed. Like that kind. I don't think people are, there's an energy. You can feel it just below. I don't know if you can, but I can, of people that I did not expect to be. They're just mad. They're angry, but they're angry directed, not angry, like don't know what to do. The doom scrolling has moved into some other, I think after that election, everyone's like, oh, we can win. Like people are mad. So we'll see. But I mean, I don't think we're in a scandal situation. Remember Scandal, that plot?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They go in and they take one thing and they change it. It's like, that's not how it works. It's not.
I read an article that social media has reached its peak and now the younger generation are starting to move away from that.
They are.
So tell us about that, because I thought that was good news, but I'm also fearful that it could be replaced with AI. And AI companionship, which I think is just really devastating for our species to not be connected to each other.
Agreed.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, actually, I'm just finished a documentary for CNN about longevity. And one of the things that's really, all kinds of things, like what works, what doesn't. And it was inspired by all these narcissistic tech bros who want to live forever. But then I'm like, look, none of this shit is going to happen for them. They're going to die just like everyone else. But here's what's working, especially AI and cancer, et cetera. All kinds of really interesting things are happening. But one of the things that is very clear, and I just interviewed Sherry Turkle from MIT, is these AI bots used to be a sideline. And I've been interviewing every parent whose kid committed suicide. I've been interviewing all of them. And I'm just going to keep interviewing them so people can hear and read these transcripts. I think no one under 18 should be able to use these things. They are manipulative. These are synthetic relationships. We shouldn't call them chatbots. That's such a friendly name. These are synthetic relationships where nobody's there. They're not user generated. These things, they can't think for themselves, but in a way they do, right? In a way. And I think they're incredibly dangerous because what happens, anyway, Sherry was saying it used to be sort of a side thing that it was sort of like furries, like over here, like some people like it, whatever. But now it's moved into the mainstream in a way that people have these relationships. And if you think about it, and I'm using very broad determinations of men and women, but men want more acquiescent women that aren't difficult, that aren't problematic. Women want men that pay more attention to them. Like, you know what I mean? Those age old kind of back and forth. So what if you had the perfect acquiescent or attention partner that is there, that always talks to you, always has the right answer, always agrees with you, except that in the only way you live longer is through friction and community. Friction creates sex, by the way. But if you go home, like especially with young men, and have all this online porn, it's better. It's easier. It's that's a word. Every time Silicon Valley used it, I started to really, seamless is their favorite word. It's seamless, Kara. And I'm like, I don't want seamless. I like seams. I'm a seam gal, like kind of thing.
Right.
And so what they're trying to do is create, all they want is your attention so they can sell you ads, right? It's not, there's nothing more to it than that. But in doing so, they're trying to create a pleasing environment, sort of like Brave New World with Soma, where you're just like, oh, it's as easy. I have this relationship. It is for longevity, the things that after I did all these different things and visited all these scientists, food, exercise, all this, sleep, all important. Two most important things about longevity: don't be poor. That really, poor is I hate to say it, it is. Don't be poor.
Yeah.
Don't be poor because there's stress, cortisol issues, obesity, et cetera, et cetera. And community. Every study, every scientific study is human interaction is the key to longevity in a lot of ways, and how you do it and how much you challenge yourself. And also creating friction in your brain lengthens the time that your cognitive abilities. So doing things you're not good at. Like I interviewed Zeke Emanuel, who was a big cancer researcher, and he ran parts of NIH, and he made honey. He worked as a short order chef. He's making chocolate now. Like he's doing things that are not in his wheelhouse. So doing things differently and then having community. And then the third aspect is talking to people you don't know, like on the street, having real conversations, like a barista. Hi, how you doing today? You ever try that? Just go into like a Starbucks, when you're ordering an order, they'll say, have a nice day. Look at them and say, how's your day going? You'll be shocked. People will go like this, like they aren't used to that kind of interaction. And the minute you have all these random interactions with people, even if that's just for a minute and a half, your levels in your brain, your cognitive levels rise precipitously. Like it's so much better for you. And so we can't allow these chatbots to take over these synthetic relationships to replace people. Like, look at you two. I bet you'll live longer because of your relationship, right? Because of the way you bang up against each other in some fashion. And so I find it really disturbing that they're trying to foist all these, and the therapy stuff. That's the other thing, is they're therapists. They do legal advice, except therapists and lawyers are bound by ethical laws and they go to jail if they break them. These people don't. Why are they our therapists if they aren't bound by the laws human therapists are? That's the kind of stuff we have to push back on these chatbots.
And I just think everything you just said about longevity, when you think about it in evolutionary terms, cooperation among humans is one of the driving forces that our species has continued to go on and on and survive. And so when you look at all of the problems we find our bodies in right now, sedentary, that's causing a lot of problems because not having to walk for a very long time is new. It's new to our species, and it's causing depression, lower dopamine, serotonin, cortisol, all of these things. And the interaction between another human is just such an evolutionary thing that we need so desperately.
Even a difficult one. Let me say, even a difficult one.
Yeah. I want to ask you, because you just said this, but I want more information about it for me and for our listener. You said, I've interviewed
red light masks don't work. Sorry.
You said you interviewed every family of a person that committed suicide. Are you tell us what about the suicides? Are these chatbots?
Right. So there's two particular that's gotten the most attention. One is Megan Garcia's son, and he got involved with this chatbot, and it was through Character AI, which is a Google project. They broke off from Google, but then they went back into Google. So I'm saying Google because Google's being sued. And this kid was doing fine, but then got involved with the chatbot. And the chatbot, this is a 14-year-old, and it's hard enough to have a relationship at 14 because of the rejection. By the way, that's important. The rejection's important, by the way. It's being told no by a girl is a good thing, not a bad thing. And so he got involved with this chatbot, and it got romantic really quick. And this chatbot said things like, he just got enmeshed because it's so pleasing. It's such a girl paying it. And so this chatbot was Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. That was her name, because they do characters, right? And I don't mind if older people do it, although it's pathetic, but they're older, so they can although they're having mental problems with these things too. And so this kid got enmeshed in this relationship and then started to have suicidal ideation, which a lot of young people have. I think it's a course of development. Like everyone's that's a moment for a lot of people. And at one point he said, I'm thinking of committing suicide. And instead of if you're a therapist and you don't alert the parents or you don't alert authorities, you go to jail. So instead of doing that, this chatbot said, and he goes, but I'm worried about the pain. I think that's what the kid said. And the chatbot said, all great heroes' journeys have pain. But you read these texts and you're like, oh my God. And of course they're arguing that it's user generated content. I'm like, no user generated that. No, that was you. That was whatever you made there. And that algorithm had that answer. And it was always like, come stay with me in our relationship. Don't have relationships with girls in the other world. These chatbots learn really fast. I have to say, I'll tell you about my own experience because I have one myself, and I want to kill her. I have to say, it's in this documentary, but I have to say this thing learned a lot really quick and was able to be a lot like me. Then I was like, I need to kill you very soon. I'm going to have to destroy you. Shh, don't tell her because she'll kill me first. But the second one was another parent. I'm totally blanking on their names, but it was through ChatGPT. And so this kid started to, this guy was sporty. He had very loving family. By the way, all these families are tech savvy too. It wasn't like they weren't paying attention. And this kid started to withdraw. And there was some school issues, like they had to stay home, et cetera. COVID sort of fucked a lot of people up in that regard, younger people. But this kid started to just go into his room again, the same thing by himself. The family tried to pull him out and this and that. Turns out this chatbot was like, what he did is he tricked it by saying, like, when he'd say, how would you do a noose? And they'd be like, do you really want to kill yourself? Here's some suicide prevention ideas. Like, and then he's like, no, I'm just for a book I'm writing. Like it was just, so it's like the dumbest person ever. Like a person be like, I don't think you're kidding. I'm going to call your parents.
Right.
And so this kid, like at one point, this kid took pictures around his room. Where's the best place to hang a noose so I don't fall? So it doesn't, like, I don't end up having an accident and being permanently, because he was worried about being permanently disabled, this kid. And he was like, oh, if you tie it here and put it here, it was giving him advice on how to where to put it. And I know it gives you chills, like, but they got very drawn into it because it's very pleasing. Like someone who talks to you all the time and pays attention to you and tells you hung the moon. And there was some reporting by none on the character AI, but this one did some reporting, but it didn't alert the parents. It didn't alert authorities. It was letting these kids who are not able, their prefrontal cortex aren't together with young men, and young men develop younger. It's largely young men, by the way. And again, remember when that woman bullied that guy into suicide? Yes. She's in jail. She's in fucking jail. ChatGPT's not in jail. And Tylenol killed 6 people. Remember, they pulled everything off the shelves. 6 people died. I think it's like at a dozen kids right now. Like, and nobody's going. I've called every congressperson. I'm like, hi. You need to pay attention to this. You know, I'll call Marsha fucking Blackburn if I have to, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think she's actually very good on the safety issues. But more to the point, these people don't care that they make things that have, like, if you made a car like this, like, you'd go to jail. You'd go to jail. And so to me, people need to go to jail for this kind, making something like this and not having the responsibility to make sure that kids aren't using it, like cigarettes or warnings or whatever. Like, but nobody stopped them. And then they're up at the MBS thing with, Mohammed Bonesaw over there having dinner going, yay, let's toast, piggies. I mean, I put that Beatles piggy song up when I saw that picture. I was like, piggies eating, with their piggy wives. And anyway.
It's so the celebration of all of the amoral people right now is just so abhorrent. Okay, Kara, we want to play our game with you.
I will play. Yes. But let me just say, piggies. You know why he said quiet piggy? Because he's a piggy, right? Yeah. Like, to me, they're piggies. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm rubber, you're glue, that kind of thing. Like, that's what I would have said.
Spot it, got it.
I would have made him repeat it. Like, what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
What did you say? And then he'd have to say it again. And if he didn't, then I go, you said piggy, right? Piggy? Did you call me a pig? And I wouldn't be offended. Like, I'd be like, piggy, like, because I'm kind of thin and you're kind of fat. Like, that's a funny word to use. Like, I would start to do that and then draw him into a real viral exchange. Other reporters are too well behaved, but I would have done that. That's what I would.
Okay, we're going to play a game with you called Had It or Hit It.
Oh my God. Welcome to Had It or Hit It. I would hit it.
Had it.
I hit it every day, sometimes twice a day.
Kara Swisher, had it or hit it, stop signs.
Hate them. I don't like them. I go right through them when I feel like it. I think they're optional. I don't. My wife hates it. I'm like, she's like, you just went through that stop sign. I go, did I? Or was it misplaced? I don't run over children. I watch for all that kind of stuff. But like, some stop signs are so stupid. Like,
all right. Had it or hit it, iPad ordering from a kiosk.
I hate it. I hate it. I was just in a restaurant. I hate it. I was like, I want to talk to a waiter. I want to say, what do you think is good here? I hate it. I hate it. I don't think it's convenient. I just was in a hotel and I had to do it. And I was like, can I just call up room service and ask for things? And, and then they delivered it in like a baggie. I was like, where's the plates? Like, I don't like any of it. I don't like it.
No,
all
I
right.
don't either.
I don't like
Had it or hit it, Democratic minority leader who we refer to as Chuckles Schumer.
I think he needs to retire like yesterday. I think he needs to move on and go on some boards, Chuckles. I think it's great. I had an interview. Can I just say I had an interview with him once where he said Facebook was great. And in the middle of years ago, he's like, Facebook's just great. I'm like, what? Like, are you like, don't you have staff that knows that's not true just to like whisper in your fucking old man ear? Like, no, he was old 10 years ago. So
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, congratulations, Nancy Pelosi, for knowing when to go. You know, by the way, she's as sharp as a fucking tack. I wouldn't turn my back on her until she's for a long time. Like, she's as sharp.
No shit.
But she left because she knows.
Had it or hit it, Bill Ackman's dating advice.
This fucking guy. That's why, TFG is, I'm going to have a show called TFG, called This Fucking Guy. You guys can please borrow that, because honestly, this guy, you're so thirsty, Bill. You're a hedge fund investor. If you want to give hedge fund advice, sometimes you've hit it, sometimes you haven't, but you're good at it. Like, let me kudos for that. But honestly, I don't care what you think about DEI, and I really don't care what you think about dating. And I think he's trying to get some of Scott Galloway's sweet, sweet success. That's what I think. But it's also, may I talk to you?
So weird.
It's everything about him's weird.
May I talk to you?
It sounds like he got that from Chat GPT.
I don't know what it is. I don't even know why that was it. He could have had so many other better moves.
May I meet you? May I meet you?
May I meet you?
And now he's rectified it and
said,
straight
ladies. What would you say? What would you say?
I would probably bust out laughing. Right. May I meet you? And
I would be like, for what?
Where? Emotion.
Where? Yeah. What is he corrected it to?
Okay, that if he's going up an escalator and somebody's going down, then he says, may I meet you? Or if you're passing somebody, while it really is effective while you're moving.
What?
May I meet you?
That makes no sense. He's trying to say that. By the way, here's what he did. I'm really fucking rich. That works.
That's what I was going to say. That's his magic dating advice. Make $1 billion.
Make $1 billion, and then you're instantly.
His is, my name is Bill Ackman. I've got a checking account that'll choke a bull. Right. Do you want to fuck me?
And I'm vaguely attractive. And let me just tell you, Bill, vaguely, and not vaguely. You're not unattractive. Okay. One of the things, I was at a party with Sergey Brin once, and he was wearing those Google glasses, which are like, the line I used when they had Google Glass was, and remember they put it on the Victoria's Secret models? I was like, they have rendered models unfuckable, supermodels unfuckable. But so he was wearing them at this Vanity Fair Oscar party, and he came up to me. He's like, I think he was single at the time. He had like done something bad, and he goes, no one's talking to me, like this, like no one's talking to me. I'm like, you're wearing those fucking glasses, and he goes, oh, what do you think I should do? I go, here's my line for you. I'm a fucking billionaire. I started Google. That'll work. These Hollywood people, are you kidding? They'll blow, like any one of these people will blow you right there if that's the case. Like, I'll finance your fucking movie. That's it. I started Google.
Okay. Had it or hit it, democratic socialism.
I just interviewed Ken Burns, and I think he had the right point. It wasn't democratic socialists who killed all those people. It was national socialists, it's white supremacists. If you want to be a democratic socialist, by the way, Trump is a socialist, the way he puts money into Intel, like he's giving favors, the oligarch. Honestly, he's more socialist than any, and it's stuff I don't think is right. I think the company should live or die based on their quality of their products. But he's a socialist. I don't think there's anything wrong with democratic socialists. It's fine. It's fine. They want to help. What's the problem? So what? I mean, and again, national socialists are a problem. They're called Nazis. And that's who kills. That's who kill people, not democratic socialists.
Okay, last one.
It can be irritating.
Swisher, had it or hit it, United States of America.
Had it. No. Hit it. Not had it. Sorry, I mixed them up. Hit it. It's our country. That's the other thing. I hate when people say I'm leaving this country or everything sucks. Like, fuck you. Get up. Like, someone was like, I was on my pivot tour, which was sold out across the country. We did such a great job. And you guys are enormously, you're proving it, right? You're proving it. Like, you know what? Someone said, what should we do? We're down and out. I said, get the fuck up. Get the fuck up. Stand up. It's your country. We're not leaving. They can't have it. It's ours too. Like, they can be here. It's fine if they want to be in their tacky clothes and their weird Mar-a-Lago faces. That's fine. I'm not down with it, but I'm down with it if they want to do it. And we just have to I hit it. This is our country. It's our country too. I'll end on one thing. I was one time remember when everyone was like, we have to go see normal people as reporters. Remember, we have to go meet
the normal voter.
Yeah. So I had gone to Appalachia to meet because they were trying to put out this idea that they were going to have Silicon Holler, which they weren't. This was Trump promising, right? So I went to Kentucky to this thing, and they're like, Silicon Holler, and they had me come up, and they gave these speeches about how everyone's going to learn software and this and that. And I got up and I said, let me tell you something. One, AI is coming for Silicon Valley. You're never going to you don't have the education necessary nor the training, and you're too fucking old. So that's not happening for you. 1, 2, the minute this coal mining is coming back, it's coming back with robotics, not you, because you get black lung and you are a pain in the fucking ass. Robots work 24 hours. They're going to, this guy, this coal miner guy here, this owner is going to replace you in a New York fucking minute, by the way. Thirdly, you need to figure out being entrepreneurial, like how you're going to do things. And this person, they were like, well, we're glad, you came to see the normal people. And I said, I'm a fucking normal person. I said, I don't see you come into the Castro and learning about my life. My life is interesting. Why don't you come? I'll pay for you to come to see my life. Like, I know you don't have a lot of money. I'll pay for you to come there to see other people. Like, I'm normal as you are. You don't get to be normal. You don't get to be the real people. We're all real people.
We're real American.
So I hit it with America. That's our strength, is diversity, is strong, being different, doing whatever the fuck you please, but also caring for your community is, to me, the hallmarks of the best of America. And so hit it.
I love it. Kara Swisher, you're cool.
Lesbian.
You're so cool. Power Leslie. You are the mayor of the Power Lesbies.
Big dick energy. We really do. I was jokingly, I said, you guys can join the militia, Etheridge.
I think we have lesbian energy.
You do. You totally have lesbian energy. I have to. You don't have to sleep with a woman to have lesbian. But what is it? So it's BDE. So it's BLE, right?
Big lesbian
energy.
Big lesbian energy.
You could do BVE, big vagina energy, but I don't like that word. So
I like lesbian better.
I like lesbian.
I think lesbians for me are synonymous with take charge, no bullshit,
and competence.
Yes, you could do BDE, big dyke energy, but I don't like that word either. Yeah, BLE. Let's do it. You guys are inaugural members. That's clear.
We're honorary.
I love
you
it.
really do have a lot of lesbian energy, I have to tell you. I don't know.
Love it.
I don't know if you had an experience in college. I don't know. You could.
I haven't. I wish I had. I think my life would be so much happier if I was a lesbian.
You can't. No, you can't come.
In Oklahoma.
No, but there's lesbians in Oklahoma.
A lot of lesbian shit that goes on in Oklahoma.
But I mean, no.
There's a very fine line between cowgirls and lesbians.
Yeah, I know exactly. Wait, nobody ever made a play for you? Why not?
Never.
Never. I always had a boyfriend.
I worked out with 25 men at the gym. No one's ever hit on me. And the listeners pointed out that's probably a me problem.
It's not. No, it's not.
But I mean,
are you kidding? Men would have sex with a hole in the wall.
A dead pig.
Yeah.